Okay, copper's expensive right now. It's worth it to just scrap Sunny, okay?
So, to pick up from where last session left off, as a bit of a timeline clarity thing, we're going to say that it took you guys about a week or so from leaving camp with Joro, Ernest, all your NPC buddies, to move through kind of a mixture of woods that as you move through it, you saw just different hints of just that magical ash rising up, just different effects from the storm. At the end of that week, though, that is when you guys kind of broke into this wider steppes region, where it is that you encountered that magical glyph that Ode disarmed that kind of caught Byron in its wake, and where the Feralids caught you guys off guard a little bit. In the distance, you still see just this teeming night of just purple sky, just crackling lightning, just all around it, just far off in the distance, swirling, almost dust storms in the air. This is picking up about, and even in the distance, you see like large, like masses of just matter and earth and rocks just suspended, similar to Pandora from Avatar. Not like clean mountains so much as it's almost like a hunk of earth was punched out of it and it's just floating in the vicinity. But it's picking up about immediately after the end of last session. The trap has been disarmed and the Feralids have been scared off by the group. What do you all do? It is probably close to, I'd say, rough time 5 in the evening, 5 p.m.
I suppose after that, if everybody's okay, we'll just keep going until it's too dark to continue and then camp?
I suppose that makes sense.
Like, are we in a, like, what's the landscape like, David?
Yes, so it is kind of... along the way, as you move through, you see it's kind of a bit of a mixture. So moving across the land, it's not terribly difficult. It looks similar-ish to plains, but it's almost as if just hunks of rock have just been punched out. There's random spots where it is just made incredibly difficult that you either will have to take like an extended time to go through it or just kind of take a route around of just blasted earth that is just in your way. Along the way, you see the grass just kind of fades between kind of greens, purples, and just every color underneath the sun. Not literally shimmering so much as you move through, just the landscape is very vibrantly changing as you go. Closest would be plains, but in the distance you see like these high plateaus similar to steppe mountains.
I mean, we have a map of, we know where we're going, right?
Yeah, we're not lost or anything. We're just headed that way.
I'd say we...
Do we have a map? Because I think
Actually,
we never purchased a map.
We never purchased a map. We actually... I don't even think we asked Ernest in-game.
No, you didn't. You did none of those things.
Yes.
You guys have basically been told the equivalent of there's a cave in the wider Columbus area. Go find it.
Are there any roads near us? And I would ask Kezia if she knew of anything, and also Sunny, of different Imperial strongholds that used to be here.
Okay.
Or trading routes.
Kezia? What do you believe Kezia would know?
Oh,
Like, this is like a...
in the area?
Like, this is a week's journey, like, walking outside of the city, so I feel like if you got on a really big hill, you'd probably be able to see.
Well, no, you... But between camp and getting to that trap that was the very end of last session was the week. You guys are kind of just now in it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Kezia might know a little bit about the beginnings of the,
Oh, okay, okay.
like feral wastelands.
Kezia, what do you think would be reasonable for Kezia to know about this?
I think in regards to trade routes and such, it makes sense. She would have to know trade routes and such to anticipate which direction goods would be coming into the city, theoretically. Not necessarily the landscape itself, because she probably never actually traveled out this direction. But
To
basic
give
knowledge regarding like big landmarks in that area would be known.
Okay. Then I would like, just to give a frame of reference here, basic teleport there. You're heading in roughly northwest direction. Nearest major city before everything got fucked. Pretty much northwest. You know that there are like random farming communities and such like in the area around it, and like, you know, some even inside the wastes, but you don't know necessarily exactly where unless you were to make like a check for it.
Okay, do you want me to make a check?
Yeah. Would you say survival or investigation makes more sense?
Honestly, I would think like history.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make history check.
Okay. I don't think I'm actually good at history. Should have argued for investigation.
Let's see what you got.
History. Why can't I ever find it? Oh, I'm very much so not good at this. 19!
Hey.
In spite of it, in the ensuing time since the war, the tear, everything, this region's been going through effectively 30 years of decay. There's a main road that's going north that you guys are able to follow just a little bit, but not a whole lot of roads go into the wasteland that's filled with chaotic magic and big weird monsters. But you are able to kind of begin to find what you now understand to be kind of a footpath through. With regards to your backstory, this is basically a little footpath that was used by Archeron Menagerie Associates to smuggle stuff a little ways out the city and stash it until it could be moved to, say, a town north like Leon, or shipped out somewhere else. Kind of just as a little, not safe house, but safer region to hide things away from the Wheat Guard in the cover of entire magic. But yeah, you're able to find a path forward in this regard. You're able to spend a bit of time kind of finding your way through. It's a little difficult because, as you guys noted, you didn't ask Ernest or Joro for an exact location. You don't have a region map. You have like a point on a world map. So it's a little tricky, but you're able to start making progress.
I can also jump in and give my real human life experience from this past week and comment that walking and hiking through the wilderness is so fucking hard that it's probably slow in that regard too.
I think that's very fair. I will say I want everyone to make a survival check. Kezia, pick one person who gets advantage. You also have advantage because of your history check.
Awesome. Okay.
No one roll yet, so that she doesn't know what we have.
Who do I want to give? I'll give Ode advantage.
Okay. So, everyone roll survival. The girls have advantage.
Ladies.
No, of course, I'm sorry.
The females.
Oh,
The
shit.
female of the
Morax.
species.
Oh, yeah, no, what the hell is going on here? Morax does not know where he is. He's not good at this. Aren't we just trying to travel? Like, Morax does not know where he is. He's in Imperial territory. Of course he doesn't know what's going on.
Oh, you do have advantage.
Morax keeps
she has a
being like,
17.
guys, if we climb to the top of this hill, we'll be able to see the whole area. And we all keep having to be like, no, Morax, that would be so much effort, and we literally wouldn't see that much. But he's like really, really focused on it.
I just start doing it without anybody's like permission, and I'm just like,
yeah. And we're like, Morax.
I'm just like,
He hikes the hill while we all take a break.
Like, no wonder Imperials were such dicks. How the hell could they live in this area? Like, this makes zero sense.
And we're all like walking at a normal like path while he's like hiking over the rocky terrain for no reason.
He somehow found himself on top of one of the floating islands. Has no idea how he got here. Doesn't know how to get down.
Wait, no. Okay, I know exactly what that is, Carson. Inspiration because of that. Yes. So the way this manifests is as you guys are moving through, you guys are struggling a little bit. To go down the line, Byron, Morax, and Artuk are really the ones that are having especially some trouble. Byron and Artuk, you both have, moved. This is a very unfamiliar place, and every, snap of a branch, every, screech, you hear just these noises in the distance that keep, pulling your attention. Byron, particularly after that random kind of event just, earlier today, you're a bit on guard, and that just continues to slow you down as you, basically have, dive prone, effectively, and are just, keeping your head low. Artuk, similarly, you're used to plants, and you're used to strange plants, and you're used to, honestly, a lot of travel like this. But just this area, it almost fascinates you, just seeing these, these suspended, rock formations with clearly, life still occurring on top. You see a very large, spruce tree growing out of the top of one of these, ripped out things, and at the bottom you see roots, and it just... It's captivating for you. Morax.
I miss pickles.
Wait, no, David. I wanna say what I think has happened. If I'm allowed.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Morax he's had it. It's been a while. He has not had a bath in a while. He's still covered in blood from getting his shit wrecked a week ago. He's not happy about that. He rolled his ankle a few days ago traveling. He's got a little bit of a limp going on right now. He ate some of Zeka's food. He does suffer from celiac, so his stomach is just wrecked right now. He's just not having a good time. He doesn't know what's going on. This is just the weirdest landscape ever, and he feels uncomfortable the whole time. And he keeps asking people to wait so he can go to the restroom.
I think Eric Miko described a natural 3 really, really well. I think
Unfortunately,
and Mary and I took away 5 hit points because I'm assuming he fell at some point.
I think David needs to go ahead and clinch in that natural 1 for us.
Oh no, you mean that natural 0?
0.
0.
Unfortunately, Morax, all those unfortunate things do happen to you. The one that really crystallizes it. You guys are moving through, and eventually Morax does fall down a hill, and he's just having a rough time of it. Maybe you hurt your ankle, it's fine, whatever. You try to stand up, and suddenly you look down, and you see you aren't on the ground anymore, and you are just slowly floating up, and you look above you, and you suddenly notice a shadow above you as you see this just hunk of earth just suspended up, and you are just slowly moving towards it. It takes the party... Okay.
I'm just trying to throw lassos at him.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna summon a firebolt immediately and try to propel myself like Iron Man.
Okay, roll Arcana. Byron, roll just a dexterity check for trying to rope a man like a cowpoke.
That's a 20, bitch.
Okay.
I'm sorry, can we go back to realizing Morax is floating?
Yeah, you guys all turn around and you see Morax just
I don't feel good right now.
It's not like...
I don't feel good right now.
It's not as though he's being ripped up. He's being gently levitated upward, but you see him, like, it's not controlled in any way, so, like, he's doing mild flips over himself and kind of spinning. I'm gonna say that, for the sake of a little bit of brevity, Byron, you are able... What do you use as your lasso, incidentally?
Something rope, 50 feet of it.
You son of a bitch. Adventurous packs, right.
Adventure.
You are able to get a lasso around Morax. Shockingly, not easily, but it took fewer tries than you were expecting. It might help that there's clearly like a strange gravity well here, so it did slightly float up to Morax.
Alright.
But Morax's able to blast himself back just a little bit and enough to grab onto the rope. This takes more time than you guys are perhaps comfortable with, but you are able to pull Morax back down to earth. But by the end of it, it's probably getting close to 11 o'clock at night, and that just ate up just several hours of getting Morax down from the gravity well, back up the hill, because he still fell down a hill baseline, and just regrouping. It has gotten very, very late.
Who's shredding mail?
I don't know, but I'm gonna blame Will on the premise that he does things like that.
I'm just cooking dinner.
Okay.
Why does it sound like you're using a shredder?
There was shredded cheese involved. I don't know where shredder came from, but...
I would have guessed that you were snapping pasta,
He was
either way.
fucking the Ninja Turtle.
Correct, yes. There's a large metal man with claws. I don't remember what Shredder looks like exactly. I know he's metal or something.
Yeah, dude, he's fucking metal. I would...
Is he?
He's just a dude.
I would like...
I was gonna say once we get Morax down, we can ask Morax, how was it to be floating for so long?
I'm gonna be honest with my stomach, it is not great.
Well, it's probably just because of Zeka's food too. Oh no, I mean your food's amazing, Zeka, but he's allergic to it.
I know. I try and do the gluten-free, but sometimes I forget.
Oh no, gluten-free is disgusting. You can't accommodate everyone.
That's
inspiration for that.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Morax, do you need some wet wipes, or me to just prestidigitate the blood off of you or anything?
How would you give me a wet wipe?
Before I left home,
and you spit on it.
Yes, of course. That's what I've been doing this whole time. I don't want his spit on a wipe.
No, he takes out a literal thing of Charmin wet wipes. Before I left home, my mom gave me these.
Mark down one Charmin wet wipe.
Hey, and you've held on to them for the past several months.
Look, sometimes my hiney gets a little raw, and I need some wet wipes.
Ew. Oh, no.
Alrighty.
Here, I have some.
I thought you ran away from home, but this might.
You guys are starting to notice some stories. Maybe he bought these himself, wasn't given them. Maybe more. Maybe there's more to Byron's story than meets the eye.
Here, I've got some fantasy desitin for you.
That would be perfect.
However successfully Ken here was able to lasso Byron, or lasso Morax. That was confusing. I think that kind of I don't know, might transition us well into this thing that I've been thinking about, which is that I just and also with Ken having set off that magical trap. No offense, Ken. It's just anyone could have done it.
Absolutely.
That we're going to investigate these ruins, right? But what are we hoping to get out of that? And is it worth it to head through this dangerous wasteland and then potentially encounter more we've scarred at the ruins, and I'm down for it because it might fulfill the mission of the Cerulean Eye to gather things that will help preserve culture and history. But I just kind of wanted us to have a clear focus as a group.
Personally, Ode, I feel that we now have a somewhat of a duty to try to make sure these devices and sorts do not fall into the wrong hands and destroy as much of it as possible. I do not like that the Weaves God are currently investigating and excavating one of these labs. I don't think that, one, they are smart enough to know what to do with it. Two, I think they would easily do a lot of harm to a lot of innocent people if they got their hands on it.
I completely and 100% agree with the entirety of what Morax said there, with no alterations to anything he said, actually, which is unusual.
I have one alteration. It will be fun.
Hell yeah.
Probably.
I think, okay, also we all need to figure out if we can get Zeka to a hospital.
What?
Because I think he just said going after the Weaves God would be fun, and he might have a concussion.
I mean, I did get hit pretty hard by that one guy, but like, no, I'm having a great time. I don't know about you guys.
But yeah, I think.
Did you miss like the terrifying monsters, the big pit of inky darkness trap, and Morax shitting himself and floating at the same time?
Before you guys go any further, as you guys are having this conversation, you do look over and you see maybe 4 or 5 miles away. There's this like pair of.
We can see 5 miles away.
You guys are on a hill, canonically.
What do your tabaxi
But
eyes
as
see?
you look forward, you see an inoperable distance away. You see a large hill covered in like grassy, like just grass and like stone, and you see this flight of birds flying over it. And then you suddenly see that hill rumble and reach a big claw just towards the sky at those birds, and those birds promptly freak the fuck out and panic as this hill begins to get up on these like crab-like legs and slowly amble after them.
I think we fucked up.
I think it's going to be a one-off thing. I think that just happened now, and we won't have to deal with it ever again.
Bard's gonna look down at the hill that we're on and go, maybe we should camp here for the night, because I don't think he'd be able to get us if we're on top of it. Right? That's how crabs work.
Wait, are you saying that we are currently standing on a crab? Is that what
I
you're
have no
insinuating?
idea. That looked like a hill. We're currently on a hill.
Can I make a investigation check or something?
You can make an animal handling check to determine if a hill is a crab, and you have disadvantage because you're asking if a hill is a crab.
Dang it!
I think you'd have advantage.
No, you wouldn't. This hill's a hill, but that hill over there was a crab. Could the two be related? Consider
But
this.
either way, it is late, and we have a good vantage point, so we should stay here, I think, regardless of whether or not this is a crab.
Yep, I think to close the conversation from before, at least from my perspective, what Morax said is really accurate. We absolutely need to make sure they don't get the things that are there, because we've been proven time and time again that those are dangerous, especially if misused. And like you said, if we can find a way to destroy some of it, that's even better, because then no one can ever misuse it, not just the people that we're keeping it out of the hands of.
Actually, that reminds me, what did we do with our brain control device? Do we still have that? Do we still have both parts of that?
Oh, yeah.
You guys definitely have both parts. I don't know whose party they are, but you have them.
I feel like we should, at the very least, separate those two items.
Yeah, I agree.
And if not, destroy them.
They've been fine for the past, like, week and a half in my bag.
I'm more thinking for the fact of, just a minute ago you got lost and started floating, and if, someone got a hold of you, killed you, and stole your bag, they'd suddenly have very terrifying technology.
Also, I worry about when we bring it into the ruins of, the same people who made it, if they might react funny or something like that, if they're together. I think, yeah, Byron or Ken here has a point. if we can separate everything, maybe, you know, these artifacts, like, if we want to, like, research them or do something with them, we can, like, get together and take them out and put them back together. But just for, like, passive travel, maybe we each should, like, hold one or something like that.
And one thing about safely collecting artifacts that they teach us at Cerulean Eye is that a lot of things that have magical properties that we don't understand might not actually be as safe or innate as they seem if they're just sitting in your bag.
Want one?
What was that, Will?
I would like one of the items.
I feel like it's a good idea.
Stinky food in your bag. I don't think you need a alien device.
No. I have a very strong mind. I cannot be controlled by these.
Since this has been your job for a while here, why don't you take this one? It gives you the cube.
Okay. I
That's
take
fair.
the cube. And I kind of shrug at Zeka, like, meh.
Mark,
What
you break
are we to do?
My turn.
Here you go, and he picks up a rock and gives it to you.
What do I look like to you?
I don't know. I'm not giving you the helmet.
I would think.
The
I
helmet?
think a skater.
I thought the helmet was just like nothing.
No, the helmet is one of the two devices, Zeka.
Oh.
Like
I
the
was...
cube and the helmet go together.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, sure. I'll take this extremely powerful artifact right here, and Zeka grabs the rock and just like drops it on Morax's foot.
Wait, do you drop it on Morax's foot?
And eats it.
That's fair.
Wait, do you drop it on Morax's foot?
Yeah.
As you do that, you immediately just hear as it hits, and Morak wears steel-toed boots, right?
Yeah, of course.
The rock cracks, and you immediately just hear, and just this high-pitched, unnerving scream begin.
Was that when they crab?
It just continues.
cast
I'm not going
silence.
to do that because it's audio poison, but it continues for some time.
I look at the rock.
Byron's gonna gesture to Morak to crush it.
Yeah, I step on it.
You will live to regret that. Wait, none of you speak that. Wait, what language do you all speak?
Not that one.
Not that one.
If
Common,
any of us
primordial, and
speaks that
Orcish.
language, that makes no sense.
What is the language?
What languages do you guys speak?
Is it
Common,
speak
primordial,
giant?
and Orcish.
I'm assuming it's not goblin.
I'm assuming it's not
I have-
halfling.
I have a very
Elven,
specific answer in mind. This isn't a...
If it's using a druidic tongue, I can sort of understand it.
I put my languages in the chat.
Wait, is it
That's the
Orcish?
easiest.
It is not Orcish.
Okay, then I don't know it.
I think... No, unfortunately, I don't think any of you... Oh, of course, Mary. Actually, that scream was in sign language. No, but it was just signing the letter A in sequence. No, unfortunately, this thing just starts mumbling, as far as you know, gibberish.
Kill it faster,
But
kill
it stops
faster.
after Morak crushes it beneath his heel.
That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Kezia, did you know that all of this was like a week's journey outside of your home?
Well, I knew not to go near the wastes because of how dangerous it was.
Yeah, but
Because
like
the world
I
warped
assumed,
around you.
I assumed that it wouldn't be giant crabs.
I mean, think about it. What's stopping that giant crab from being you in a couple weeks' time?
What?
I don't know why you had to say that. That there's a small child here. He's gonna get.
Morak, I
may
don't
be
know
small,
what you want me to say. I
and I
was
may be a
literally filled
child.
with nightmares going this direction since I was a very small child.
Are you
Well,
trying to tell
I
me I
guess
could
kind of
become a
going back-
crab?
Are you not already one, Ken?
Ken, make a wisdom
No, I got
save.
rid of
No,
crabs a while
Ken,
ago.
make a wisdom save.
Wow. The highest level spell, gaslighting.
You're not you aren't gonna get gaslit by Kezia, all right? You aren't a crab.
Yeah.
You might
Well,
have
crabs,
crabs.
they're like-
That's to be
I'm
determined
sorry.
later.
This-
But you don't have no crab.
This entire place unnerves me. It's weirdly weird, so.
Wait, all that modified memory is you just gaslight the shit out of someone to make them think that something happened that didn't. No, dude, you totally like stole that piece of bread.
That
No,
somehow
I
is
didn't.
more
No, you
horrifying.
definitely did.
How could you
But just
forget?
in the change modified memory to gaslight.
Well, anyway, yeah, let's sleep here. I'll make some gluten-free crackers for you, Morak.
Thank you.
Just make them like a salad or something.
Yeah, like, well, I don't think we have vegetables here, and I don't want to eat anything that we find out here.
Yeah, how well do you think
I got this
produce
moldy
heats?
piece of beef
You know,
jerky.
I'll just eat my own orcish rations that consist of nuts and dried fruit.
Ooh, got any almonds?
Artuk
What's an
nervously
almond?
Artuk nervously eyes the dried fruit.
What is that shit?
Adam, inspiration. Good work.
Does anybody want a craisin?
What's a craisin? Is that like a crazy raisin?
No, it's a cranberry that was dried in the sun.
Cranberry.
It's a cranberry.
It's essentially like, you know, a bog fruit.
A what? A
What?
A bog fruit.
Are you talking about bogs as in like a swamp?
Yes, they grow in water. In a bog.
That sounds
You know what?
really
I'm sorry,
nasty.
can you say bog again?
It's harder to do it in this accent, okay?
No, I really like it. Please say it
Bog.
again.
It's a bog.
I don't know why.
They grow and you have to wear the rubber coveralls to wade in the water and you collect the fruit, and then one day someone just left them out in the sun for a while and they're all like, oh, we could put these on salads.
I forgot you were a farmer, Morak.
No,
You
I
know, actually, this is super random, but thinking of things that smell like swamps, I've had this thing for a while that we haven't been able to identify, and
It's gorgonzola cheese.
I just really want to figure out what it does, especially before we see Murray again, because I got it from Murray, and I just, do you think I could just do that right now, and maybe Zeka, if something horrible happens, you can like maybe be there to patch me up.
Identify
you-
it if you want me to do that.
No,
Or I could drink it.
I mean we've tried that. You can certainly try again, but and she pulls out the purple, blue, gray potion that she got from Murray that like is kind of sludge-like, and I've just determined smells like a swamp.
also have a potion that you don't understand, and I pull out mine that I also got ages ago that I remembered was on my character sheet.
Hold
I think
on.
you have to remember where you got it from for it to count.
No,
Eric.
I know exactly what that potion is. I remember because I was pissed you never used it. You have no idea what it does, though.
It's a potion of power word kill on yourself.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I got this potion the session that Morak got tentacle touched, so that there's a reason he did not talk about it thematically for months.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know this is random, but like, I just have to force it in somewhere, and David, if Zeka and Ken are offering to identify it, I would certainly have them try.
You
So, I mean,
remember
I
that
can
it didn't
identify
work
it,
last
but-
time. If they try again, it doesn't work.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I don't know about Morak's blue potion, but I know Murray gave this specifically to me because he was like, I can't figure out what it does
All right.
without
You're worried
testing it,
about
and he was
drinking
like scared to test it.
You'll
you're
remember
worried
that he
about your,
basically described it as he emptied out the bottom wells of all of his potions and
Right,
just mixed
exactly.
them together.
So
Alright,
basically,
so,
he did the suicide thing with the soda fountain.
Imagine that, but with magic. So yes, it does have one thing of Mountain Dew.
I'm about to get fucking amped.
All right, so you fellas ready?
Oh, you're just gonna rip it.
Rip it. And Ode takes a swig of the potion.
I stand back.
Oh shit! I probably should have enhanced her ability to resist that.
Hey, Ode, make a con save.
Is it too late to say I casted guidance?
It's too late.
Well, shit.
We have to figure out what it does. If I resist it, we don't know.
No, I won't. This is a bit mechanical, Mary, but if you resist it, the effect changes. I'll give you that warning. Alright, so an 8 con save. Let's see. That's fucking lame.
You have inspiration.
Yeah, I'll use inspiration. I mean, we gotta figure out what it does either way, right?
I mean, we're never gonna see him again.
I wanna know what it does. It's a 16.
God damn it. Ode, as you do this, it's sludge-like. It tastes and smells like bog water. Do you continue to force it?
It's just ayahuasca.
It's kind of like, imagine you're trying to do a Jello shot, but if it was like the volume of 20 Jello shots. That's the strange consistency that it's slow going and it's just weird and gross.
And I'm not trying to use all of it because my idea is that if it does something useful, I can save the majority of it till later.
I'm gonna say you use around half. I'm gonna say, in a mechanical sense, you have half of it.
Oh, okay.
Ode, as you do this, just make another con save for me real quick.
Why?
Just for a reason.
Okay.
Ode, it's too much. It's that consistency, that taste, you are just very much sick, and it takes the party collectively a bit, but you are huddled, hunched over, and just vomiting on the ground, just for like several, like an hour or two of just like whatever this was did not agree with you. And as you are going through this, you see your skin begin to lighten as if by magic, as you begin to quite literally glow blue. But on top of that, you know, we'll save that for afterwards. As you see, Ode is violently sick on the ground and glowing like a fucking nightlight.
Kezia takes multiple steps back and looks a little green before like breathes in heavily, and then is like, I'm just gonna be back here.
It's a rough night for Ode, to say the least.
I don't know if I want to chest this potion now.
I'm very glad I wasn't the lab rat, but at the same time, I'm so sorry, Ode. I don't think my healing magic will really be able to help you with this, unfortunately.
Sakura, could you do anything? Like some Tums, or...
like maybe some ginger ale?
Yeah, do we have that?
Gatorade, maybe?
I don't...
Pedialyte?
We only have Powerade.
You actually do know the forbidden healing technique known as Pedialyte. It's a bold play.
Seko,
but...
why aren't you saying anything? He's petrified in fear.
He's trying not to throw up himself.
I cast Enhance Ability Constitution for an hour of better stomach.
You could be doing that this whole time.
Ode, some of the nausea leaves you, but it's not all of it. It's just a rough night.
I'll give her a piece of fortune's favor to see if she can find a different possibility of less sickness.
This seems like a universal constant.
Zega throws the macarons he was trying to cook and in frustration. He's like, "Oh, you took the potion? Sorry about that." And then he'll cast protection from poison on her.
Oh, you took the potion? I'm sorry about that.
Ode. It's strange. As he does that, it's weird that he waits like 15 minutes. It's very weird that he waits 15 minutes. But immediately...
I like how Ode was like, hey, you guys ready to help me? And Becca's like, uh-huh. But he's like really focused on like the pastry rising part.
He was trying to make the pastries to cure your poison, but he just said fuck it and gave you a Ritz cracker.
But, Ode, you feel this wave of sickness leave your body. And as you just kind of like wipe your mouth, because that was, well, it's over, still very unpleasant. You stand up and you feel, maybe better isn't the right word, but you feel more prepared. Ode, you get a +1 to your constitution.
Permanently?
Permanent?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Fuck.
Whoa.
Is she still glowing blue?
Oh yeah, still glowing blue for, you know.
The rest of your life.
We'll see.
The shadow
gonna do
monk
my-
now glows blue. Good.
Oh no, you remove all the shadows you can jump into.
Oh no.
I'm
That's
gonna
the way of
detect
getting rid of
magic
your
on her.
shadow step.
Oh my god, that's such a nerd. I detect magic on her.
Yeah. It's there.
Also, it's just like if you got an increase to strength or dexterity, I feel like you could feel that. I feel like an increase to constitution, you would have no idea.
Especially after just ralphing
Yeah,
for
you
an hour.
probably just felt like you just had a big fart and you feel better now.
Yeah, I was
know, I
like,
feel like it
oh
would be
god,
totally
that was
different.
terrible. But you know that kind of feeling when you got a really big fart and you kind of feel better after it? I think I'm there. Thanks for that. Thanks for your help, guys. That was terrible to sip. I do have half of it left if anyone else wants to try.
So you vomited out a fart?
Wait, there's half of it left? Just drink the rest of it and you're fine now.
Maybe
Protection
another
from
time.
poison.
You still have protection for poison. But you might glow
I do-
forever.
And you
I
have
do
advantage
still
on
have
Constitution
protection
right
from
now.
poison.
Because
You
your
know what,
enhanceabilities
David?
go away.
I'm gonna drink the rest of this potion.
Ode, are you? Hold on, Mary. Are you sure?
Oh my gosh, he asked. I don't think I've ever gotten a "Are you sure?" from David before.
You also have 4 temporary hit points, Mary.
I think you should do it.
I have protection from poison, and
What's the worst that can happen? We have a shit ton of diamonds.
Oh my gosh,
Chug,
Eric,
chug,
why would you say
chug.
that?
Chug, chug.
yeah, David, I'm gonna do it.
I want you to still make a con save.
DM, are you sure?
This time
Claire,
I have guidance on
where
her.
that can happen?
You do have guidance
I
this
give her a
time.
piece of fortune's favor, so
You
have
also
a
you also
luck
have
point.
enhanceability, which will give you advantage on this Constitution.
You also
Oh.
still have protection from poison up for the next, like...
No, never mind. It only gives on checks, not saves.
Oh.
Basically, you have a luck point. You got 2d4 and protection from poison.
All right, Ode, make your con save.
I mean, I don't want it to kill me.
You'll be fine.
I'm sure.
I-
Look at how much we get pumped into you. I'm sure you'll be good.
Well, okay,
Worst
okay,
happens is you glow a little bit brighter.
Before I do this, I think that it seems like the advantages of saving this for future use are to try to poison someone. But this thing smells so much like dank sulfuric acid that I doubt we'd actually be able. So, can you guys think of any other potential future uses for it?
Well, also, like, think of, like, say we give it to someone and we're trying to poison them and they just, like, resist it and then they're more strong than before. Like, I don't know.
I
Yeah,
don't
what if
think
they
it'll
get
make them
the,
more strong. Yeah, I mean, I
what
don't
if
think
we
there's
give
any
them the good
benefit to
part,
me
though?
drinking more other than hurting myself, because my perception right now is I got nothing out of that besides vomiting. So,
And you're glowing.
Yeah.
And you're glowing.
You are
I don't
actively
go,
glowing.
you know what?
You
I
look-
guess
You know what? That makes sense. Why would we drink more of it? All
Right,
we know
I
that
guess
happened is
we'll-
that she
we'll-
passed gas and was glowing.
Okay, but
We'll
how are
keep
you
it
going
in
to
case
properly...
we need someone to be violently ill, or in case we need them to be violently ill and glowing. So
Okay.
I can see a potential future use out of that.
Okay,
We
but
could
how
save
long
it for
are we
like
going to
punishing a
glow?
party member that does something shitty.
There was that one play Sky High where the one guy just glowed. It might be funny to do something
Right,
like that.
I also don't know if the glowing will go away, so I think the less of it I drink, the more likely it is to go away. So that's all makes sense to
Sure.
me.
Yeah.
Try to think about not glowing.
Oh, great idea.
Maybe if you
I
think
do
about farting while you drink it this time?
No,
You know,
I
you
think I'm
fart
gonna save it.
immediately?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think that if one of us happens to like consume a poison that we know but we can get rid of by vomiting, then all you need to do is drink this poison to
Or
make
you
you
could
vomit.
just shove your fingers down your throat.
What if you
Well,
got rid of your gag
that's getting
reflex,
kind of
Kezia?
close to real life
What?
issues,
You have a
Kezia,
gag
so we
reflex?
don't have to talk about that. Wait, what did you say, Eric?
What if you don't have a gag reflex?
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
Or are you saying you don't have a gag reflex?
No, I do. I just
I thought you were straight.
in my youth, I've met some women on nights where they're very impressive on not having them.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm
Sure.
annoyed that I used an inspiration and then had to do another con save. I wish I knew what that was about.
I think one was for the vomiting and one was for the effect of the potion.
So did you get
Um,
a permanent +1, or did it increase Constitution by 1?
It
I think
it
increased
definitely
the
wasn't a
score.
permanent +1. If anything, it increased the score, like the actual score,
Yeah.
from 14 to 15.
Yeah, I think
And I
that's
don't think we know right now if it's permanent. And like you pointed out, O doesn't know anything happened. So
Like, you would have some vague idea that something changed.
yeah, like I feel like I just did a really good fart.
Yeah. Like, I just don't know how you could, like, you could feel stronger, you could feel, like, more nimble, you could maybe, like,
I don't think you
charisma.
can feel any of these. Like I don't. Yeah,
Well, like,
that's where I'm at.
you know how, like, I don't know, you can
You know how you
naturally
feel
just
after
feel...
you have a big fart?
Okay.
I think it's hard to tell also because she was just Ralphing, which is the opposite of having a high constitution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
That's
and
valid.
like you can rate your like general strength. Like my general strength is a 9 out of 20, but I think if it changed tomorrow, I don't know, like you woke up in the morning and had 10% more strength. I don't know if you'd notice right away until you're like try to pull something and it opens too quickly, like that kind of thing. And that's the only one that I can think that you would like even notice.
Yeah, I feel like it's just the idea of, like, after you do a workout, you could be like, man, I feel strong today. Or, like, after you do a big long
Yeah.
run, you could be like, man, I feel fast today. Everything else, I don't know if you could ever feel.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever notice myself suddenly gaining a few IQ points.
Yeah, I don't know how I could be like,
I would.
I eat Chipotle and my stomach isn't immediately wrecked. I would just be like, man, I'm lucky today, not I'm more constitutous.
I guess that's fair. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things of like, everyone has like a general feeling of maybe not sickness, but like we get used to feeling shitty, right? And then maybe one day you feel less shitty, and you're like, oh, this is what it's like to not feel less
yeah,
shitty.
yeah. Like
But it
one
could
time,
just be
I
like
had a yeast infection, and I felt I was to the point where I like was in
Yes.
constant discomfort, and didn't like even think about how I was in constant discomfort. And finally went to a doctor, and they had medicine that fixed it in like 2 days. And I was like, oh shit, this is what it feels like to not be in constant discomfort. It was a really life-changing experience to me of how we can grow accustomed to minor discomfort.
Right. Exactly.
I'm back.
Hey,
It's
we're
described in
discussing
the most
yeast
graphic way possible. Yeah.
Excellent. I look forward to editing that.
All right, but I suppose.
No, David, leave it in so all of our 7 fans can know about my vagina issues.
Yeah, so all of our 7 fans minus us, which is kind of which is kind of bad because there is 8 of us. Who's not a fan. Well, I guess David makes it. David makes it. So I guess you could say it, but I like the idea that one of us isn't a fan.
Back to mine. It's me. I'm not the fan.
You got 10 subscribers.
Well,
David
anyway,
has
I feel
4
like
accounts.
thank you everyone for letting me push in the potion trying, and I feel very non-meta for recognizing that Ode understands that it's just something that would hurt her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure
well,
thing.
after that experience, I think we should wait on this potion, unless anybody is like, oh yes, we should drink it.
Nope. I say we hunker down.
Okay,
Yeah,
should we hunker down right here next to the giant floaty area? Because it's right, like, 15 feet that way.
Well, all you have to do is not fall down the mountain to avoid it, so. Ooh, maybe that's what the potion did. It made me snarky.
That is possible.
How would you feel that? I understand that, like, if you were stronger one day. Okay, so I think we've had an eventful day. I floated.
Yep.
Ode vomited. I think we could find an area, and I don't know if we'd want to just do it. I don't know if we could find a cave. I don't think we should camp just out in the open.
I think I could make the open safe enough to camp for us.
That, and I'd worry about the crabs.
I mean, unless we're on top of one that's feeling us, which I suppose is a distinct possibility, I think I could make us relatively invisible to most things if we're really worried about being out in the open for the night.
Have you been able to do this whole time?
Nope, this is brand spanking new. My mushrooms have gotten stronger, and it's terrifying, but I'm trying to make the best of it.
Is that because you like felt them coming after you recently?
Yes. Frankly, when I went down and came back up, ever since then, they haven't been as easy to control as they were, but they've also notably been more powerful, so when I do have control, I have a little bit more control than I used to.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad for the extra ability, but also terrified for what it means, because I'm really distinctly worried that at some point, I'm not going to be able to handle these anymore.
No, I think we should start setting up camp for the night, and I'd love to see what your new abilities are. Side tangent, if we combined your mushrooms with some Zeka food, could we make powerful magic items happen?
I worry
really
about
strong magic mushrooms?
the edibility of the particular types of spores that I've got going.
No, that's true.
They're fungal and parasitic. And it's more like the mold that grows on food that hurts people and makes them like get food poisoning, not so much like the portobello mushroom.
But what if we try?
Vomiting is not great.
I mean, I'm willing to try if you want. I have control of them, but I'm distinctly worried.
I feel like his mushrooms did try to eat him a week ago. I understand that we probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I distinctly can warn you that if you consume these, they would try to find weaknesses in your physicality to exploit and grow within you.
Maybe
Well,
don't. That's
what
then.
if I channel some magic that will use that to our advantage, and we can make a spell out of it?
I mean, if you want to try to make something that purposefully infests someone with parasitic mushrooms, that's very up my alley.
What if
people
attacking
your
spell?
mushrooms?
Attacking spell.
I kind of do that already. The feeding mushrooms, that is more.
That's true. That's true. I just typically don't look near it because it is quite disturbing.
Yeah, it's terrifying. I know. I understand that.
Yeah.
Well,
The more I learn
just
about your
wanted to
magic,
make
the more
a
scared of you
spell
I am.
with my friend Artak, but
I mean,
whatever.
I'm willing to give it a shot.
We can talk later.
Yeah, let's talk. I want to talk about that at some point.
All right. Are we sleeping?
Yeah.
I think it's the best.
All right.
Artuk, what do you do to make camp safe?
So I'm gonna walk a fair distance away from everybody else, not crazy far, but a solid 50 feet away, so that I'm not releasing my spores right next to anyone. And if Morak wants to watch, I'll like advise him to stand at a bit of a distance here. But I am going to sort of just reach in towards the part of me where the spores are sort of festering and at the ready, that I'm sort of holding control all the time. 24/7 Artuk is sort of concentrating on keeping this contained and not letting it break out. And for just the briefest flash of a moment, I'm going to think about the physicality of these steps and this hill and this area in general, these wastes, and I'm just going to completely let go of the concentration that I'm keeping on holding them at bay, and all at once, just out from me in all directions, tons and tons and tons of spores, little black, from a distance they just look like motes, but up close you can see their sort of fungal growths start to snake across the ground out around me over, the course of a few seconds. They spread out over, like, around the feet of the whole party, and even out beyond that in a 150-foot cube. And suddenly, there's a moment where everyone, for almost the briefest of second, like, sees everything shake or move or warp for the briefest of moments. And then all of a sudden, it looks like the hill we were on, but without our camp or any of us, or even like the alcove we're in, it looks like there's a little rock over where we are, and it takes you a moment of remembering, wait, this isn't real, to focus and see that it's an illusion that I cast. But hallucinatory terrain now exists over this area, and it's making it look like the area without us here, but the area we're in has a little hill instead.
How far away did you step?
Like 50 feet, and it's a 150-foot cube.
Okay.
So from anybody who doesn't know about my illusion, it looks like we are inside of a rocky, like, outcrop right now. But that is to say, they wouldn't see us, they just see a hill. But for us who know it's an illusion and know that this isn't real, we can sort of see the illusion, but we can also see what's actually here, which is just the part of the open land we're on.
Okay. Morak, are you with him?
Yes.
Artuk, you do that. It goes exactly as you describe. And as you turn around, and I imagine you look to Morak, would you say you're proud of the illusion? Like, even if it's a little unnerving with these spores, you would say that the power of them and what they can do is impressive in a way, right?
Yeah, that's the single most powerful thing Artuk's ever done.
Okay. And you look over with, I imagine, a smile, and kind of smile towards Morak. Morak, as you look, you see Artuk, still very clearly Artuk, but you see, like, around his neck and around his right arm, you see mushrooms and just this fungi have grown. Like, out from the side of his neck, you see in particular, like, kind of a bullet cap mushroom, and along just this kind of lichenous form. Artuk hasn't quite regarded it just yet. And you see it just suddenly grow onto him.
Morak will immediately be like pointing at his own neck. Like, do you know what's going on, Artuk?
Do I know?
He walks over to him. Just be like, wait, there's mushrooms going out of you. Is that normal?
It takes you a second. As he points it out to you immediately, it's kind of just like, it wasn't that you were blind to them or some grand illusion was broken. It was just you were very focused on the pride of that new power that you just displayed. And for just a second, you were kind of lost in it. But you see, as he points these out, these kind of growth on you.
I immediately, upon seeing it, you watch the smile that Artuk had, just, like, you can almost see the gut wrench for a moment of him going from, so happy and proud of what he just did to, fuck, I let it slip, fuck. And, immediate, shame and, regret for it, and immediately the pride's gone, the smile's gone, and he looks anxious at best, as I put all of my focus hard into recontaining everything that I let out, and see if I, can ease them back in. Just, all right, fine. Fuck.
They immediately on you regaining this focus, they kind of fade. Just whether your pick on flavor of whether they just fall from your body or they are reabsorbed into you, but immediately they fade.
Oh, that's so much worse.
fuck. So yeah, Morax, that's when I was describing the whole losing control a little bit.
That was disgusting.
Yeah, I know. It's nothing that I do looks pretty anymore. You know, once upon a time I cast magic with plants and, you know, vines and pretty cool stuff like that. But no, that was what I was starting to talk about earlier though. Now, ever since I went down there, whenever I cast anything, that I have to keep a constant sort of focus. It's almost distracting from my day-to-day life how much effort I have to put into keeping these things from spreading out beyond what I asked them to do, because at the end of the day, they're another living thing, and what they want is to spread and propagate and survive, just, you know, the way that any living thing would. They're just particularly harsh about how they do it, and I've got a fragile relationship with them, saying that, you know, I have the final say, but as they get stronger and stronger, I have to focus harder and harder on keeping them that way. And when I let myself slip, even if it's just to feel happy about something, or, you know, not think about my constant anxiety about these for just a moment, it's it immediately spirals, and it's frankly bad for me and my mental health, on top of being just bad for the people around me and the plants and everything around. It's just not a healthy situation.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that it was like this.
Yeah.
I always kind of just assumed that it was just when you were casting things. I didn't realize it was a constant pain on you.
Yeah, it's better than it was once. When this whole thing started, when the whole blight walking thing, you know, showed up, I didn't even know that you could ask them or control or, you know, figure out how to make them not do things around you, and so it was just constantly leaking out of me like this. Things just died around me. They infested everything, and they hurt me and the people around me. And it's through a lot of, you know, self-reflection, learning and growing, and a little bit of help from visions I've had along the way that I've learned that I can do this sort of bit of control and collect my life back into my own hands again. But it ain't easy, and it's not the freedom and, you know, lack of worry that I once had. Nowadays, I feel like I'm living almost with a sort of constant anxious fear of things getting out of control again, and it's draining, honestly.
I don't fully understand what you're going through, but I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, ever since I connected with the computers, I've kind of felt something watching over us. It's frankly terrifying, but
yeah, it's
yeah,
weird.
Hopefully we can figure this out together.
Yep, I agree. It's weird knowing that once upon a time I was happier than I am now. That's sort of how it feels. Like, you know, I feel like I used to have it figured out, and now I'm not as sure that I do anymore, and that's kind of strange to think. But hey, like you said, hopefully we're figuring things out together, and I'm glad to have you guys all with me to, you know, catch me if anything ever does get out of control.
Yeah, yeah. And I know I've talked to you many a times about, like, wanting to learn more about your magic and everything. I'm good now, honestly.
Yeah, that's
Just
why
I'm fine.
Yeah, that's why I've been a little bit touchy about it when, you know, you guys have asked. It's just been, I don't really want to introduce you to these, because it's not really a blessing. It's, you know, I'm trying not to think of it as a curse, but,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and honestly, if Zeka tries to talk to you about trying to cook those things, yeah, no, you kind of just confirmed we shouldn't do that. That sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah, I worry about, you know, asking them to go and die. I've never asked them to do that, and it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we have a big rock around us for the night now.
So,
or at least
could you explain what the fuck did you just do?
Sure, so actually you wouldn't know it, but the air in this entire area now is full of floating tiny mushroom spores that are sort of just growing like on airborne, you know, wind currents here. And they look to anyone who doesn't know they're there like whatever I want them to. They're not going to get in your lungs or anything or hurt anything. They're completely harmless.
You see as Morax is already ripping a piece of cloth from his shirt and was about to tie it around his face.
Yeah, no, there's nothing to be terrified of with that or anything. All that they do, and all that I'm forcing them to do, is just look like whatever I ask them to from the outside to anybody who doesn't know they're there. For us, since we all know they're here, or at least know that I cast some sort of magic, we can see what's really here. But anybody who's not us, or any crabs, or you know, lurking monsters or things, is just going to see a big rock, because that's what I want them to see.
Well, I'm good with that.
Yeah, and it's you know, I don't need to concentrate. I can go to sleep at night and you know, wake up in the morning. This will still be here.
Yeah.
I feel like around now, Ode maybe runs past them and has like a second wave of like, what else do I have to... And you see her go behind a bush and hear some hacking noises, and then come back, and then she's like, I haven't done that since I was little.
Has everyone seen the Suicide Squad yet?
I have not.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, there's a point where Polka Dot Man vomits up polka dots, and it's like he runs behind a bush, vomits, and it's a bunch of neon glowing lights. I like to think that it's a bunch of, like, glow, like, we see Ode run behind a rock, we hear, bleh, and then, like, a big, bright blue light shines from behind the rock.
Oh, I love that. I was thinking that it was a hairball.
Oh, it's a big glowing blue hairball.
Yeah, I like that it's a neon hairball, and then it's still, like, the hairball itself is still glowing, so you see, like, a vague glowing behind the bush.
So is Ode's skin glowing, or the fur? Because I like the idea of now she has this weird effect going on with her fur, where it's like any part that's a little bit parted, we're like...
Wait,
like,
do you guys know what those things are? That's like the little, like kind of lamps that you could buy at arcades, where it's like long strings of plastic and like the little end tip of it glows.
Yes.
I feel like I want that. Oh, I mean, I don't get to choose, but that's how I'm choosing to imagine her fur now. And then I want her to go and just like lie face down on
You
the
are
ground.
like
go to
so
sleep.
ready for a rave right now.
Yeah, holy shit. All you need is some ecstasy and you're good to go.
We could have so much fun and catharsis right now with you glowing like this, Ode.
She just fell asleep on the face down on the ground.
Okay, well, Artak, could you help me? Do you think, could you touch
Are we-
people with the mushroom thing going on right now?
Yeah, I have it back under control. I just have to...
Okay, well, let's get her up.
Yeah.
And I think we then realize that 2 people kind of holding her is a little bit overkill, so I feel like Morak would then just fight, like baby holder.
Yeah, I'm
Can we
gonna
put
go
her in like
take-
a recovery position or something?
She'll
Make sure she
curl
doesn't
up
like...
a cat when I pick her up.
Or she has the more traditional cat response of awaking immediately and clawing at your face.
I like the latter.
Oh, it's pretty good. Morax had a rough day. Ode clawing at his face wouldn't really... would make it worse, but it would be funny thematically.
Alright, it's the claw to the face.
Oh, God! Ode, I was just trying to pick you up.
Sorry, I'll go over here and try to go to bed, because apparently there wasn't good enough for you, and she like pushes him away and just walks away.
The whole thing that Artak... Okay, fine.
I thought I was in it. How do you know I was outside of it?
That's just how my mind's, the mental image that I painted seemed like you were just like, I'm asleep right here, and we were outside of it, and you were near us.
Well, I imagined that I was in it and that you were picking me up needlessly, so there
Okay,
you
well,
go.
I'm sorry that we both, I'm sorry that I did that, but also I'm the one that got attacked in the face, so I guess it's equal.
Sorry, I didn't mean to completely end your guys' conversation. I was just trying to provide a short interruption so that if you wanted to talk about something different, too.
It was a good natural end.
Stomach relief.
I feel like now I'm good with not waxing philosophically about magic. My face hurts.
Yep, David. Just to make sure, are we safe enough from wild magic right now that I don't need to worry about that, or did casting do that?
There's no immediate effect of wild magic on that. You get the sense that David had a bit of a shorthand of just using that as wild magic. He's trying to come up with some more creative stuff.
Okay, gotcha. And then, yeah, okay.
Alright.
Sorry to give David more things to edit later, but I like how a whole portion of a scene happened because I was imagining that Ode was in a particular area and Morak was imagining that Ode was in a particular area and that, like, had affected the... I just think it's interesting how the scene was affected by our imaginations having gone different places. I don't know. I guess I just think that's interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's funny that you can't imagine what I'm thinking all the time, Mary.
That's the main thing we've learned in our relationship, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Alright,
Okay,
well,
so David, I need you to cut this for therapy later.
Oh, don't worry. I've already sent it off to your therapist.
Thank you.
Without any context.
Had no context. Artuk's gonna get some sleep.
Okay.
Morax's gonna take the first watch and both try to wash off his face wounds, and I don't think the big scratches. It's more like your little baby brother like scratched you in the face accidentally, and then he's going to be in his journal working on spells.
Okay.
Byron also take first watch. He's gonna go back to holding the Heart of Chaos to his face and just making minor illusions of all the different possibilities that he saw. You probably see one where instead he is floating and shitting himself.
Okay.
Now, what does this look like? Do you just have this orb against your forehead?
Yeah, a little marble to his forehead. You probably see his eyes kind of get filled with, like, basically a nebula. And you see him just kind of mindlessly putting up his hand and making little illusions in the air in front of him of different versions of himself and the things around it.
Morak, make an Arcana check for me real quick.
Yeah, because I was about to say, I'm like, Morak would stop working on his spells. He'd just start, like, taking heavy notes on whatever the hell Byron's doing. You said Arcana?
Yes. As you go through that, you see... You're starting to understand, perhaps isn't the right word to describe Byron's magic. But there are some fundamental levels to it that it's taken a while, but you start to see. Your eye is very trained for arcane runes in particular. For just half a second, you see fleeting, as Byron is casting these minor illusions, it doesn't seem like he's very aware of the runes themselves. But as he casts a spell, you see for just a flash of a second a particular rune kind of appear. Underlying it, you notice that... Make a history check for me, real quick.
You just give me the stuff that Morak's expecting, dude.
Guess what? You're trying to do the things you're good at.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
It's been a long day, okay?
It's been a long day. That doesn't affect this part so much as the next. You see... Alright, just opening up Discord real quick. You see underlying his particular casting, this kind of arcane rune appear. Doesn't look orcish. Even from that little stint you saw dealing with Ernest, doesn't look elven. Your studies
Does it seem like what he used to do with Dust Dragon stuff?
The thing... It's hard to tell with that. The problem is that with you, for instance, it's very much you conjure a rune or a sequence of runes to cast a spell. Byron does it to an extent effortlessly, but you just effortlessly isn't the right word. He doesn't do it consciously, but you see this hint of this rune appear for just a moment. With that 11 history check, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I guess Morak's just gonna, like, try to... The rest of the night, he's probably just gonna try to, like, draw as much as he can, write down notes of, like, if he has any twitches when certain... Like, cause can Morak, like, actively see these things? I'm imagining this is more of, like, he has a marble to his head, his eyes are, like, glowing and changing colors a bit, and his hand is doing magic. I'm assuming that he's not, like, actively showing a clip show of alternate realities in front of him.
No. For you, what you basically see is, as you described, you just also see, like, when he is making the minor illusion...
runes pop up from his hands.
Exactly. Like, you see this minor illusion of whatever Byron is creating, which Carson will in just a second, and then just at the flash point of his hands, like as if you were creating a fireball, you see for like a millisecond this rune, just repeatedly, just because he's creating these different illusions. Byron, can you describe those illusions one more time?
They're kind of just different versions of him. Like, you can see, like, oh, his clothes are slightly different. Oh, this one he appears to be sick. Oh, this one he seems to be flying. And initially, they're very, like, kind of staticky. Like, almost as if, like, someone's holding a magnet up to an old TV. Where, like, you can kind of almost make out. But as he goes through and gets more and more engrossed in it, you can see it getting clearer and clearer and clearer. And you can tell that it's him. And they're also getting slightly bigger to almost be close to his size.
So there's literally like a clip show of a Byron next to him doing different things?
Or across from him. But yes.
Okay. I'm trying to figure
Most
out
of them
how
are
much
him
that
in excruciating pain.
I'm trying to figure out how much that would F up someone mentally. Like, for Morax to watch that, because he's now intensely watching this. Okay, Morax might go to bed.
Fair enough. As you guys kind of close out at least the first shift of the watch, nothing immediately tracks your radar. You hear, like, in the distance, like, far away, like, high-pitched screeches, probably just different animals. You hear, like, every now and again, like, a crackle of lightning. But again, after, like, a week getting here, this very long day for a number of people, it's fading not fully into the background, but it's starting to. Who takes second watch?
I'm going to, unless anybody wants to do a little scene, but I feel like we're going to be traveling for a few days. Sunny doesn't need sleep.
Sunny does not need sleep now.
So he could watch.
Basically,
someone else wants a scene.
Does anyone have a particular scene they are interested in? This would be a good time for it.
Because I'm assuming
I have a conversation I'm interested in, but it involves Sunny, so I'll just
Oh, hey there, Ode! I'm Swedish Sunny now. Now he's just... Sorry, Ode. I'm invested in this rock. Looks at a rock.
It's the same rock that we crushed earlier.
Its screams confuse me, but make me feel, for perhaps the first time. Nope, don't feel anything. Crushes it again. Okay,
You see Ode slowly pull her sleeping bag over her again.
Yeah, and she like goes like,
and I think
I was just gonna say, at some point before the ruins, doesn't have to be now because I sort of just went through a spore scene, but I do eventually want to look or read that book with Ode.
Okay. Zeka, did you have something?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say that even though like it's not necessary, Zeka's still gonna stay up with Sunny.
Okay.
For a little bit.
Just fucking stomping on this bug.
Yep.
I will say that as you do and as you stay up with Sunny, the night passes pretty easily. And you guys begin the next leg of your journey. Adam, you at some point want to read the Blight book with Ode, correct?
Yes.
I feel like it's been kind of a daily thing.
Yeah, like we've been sort of doing it along the way whenever we get a moment.
Okay. We will come back to that in just a bit. Please remind me.
And
sure.
I feel like Byron's. I remember last time you were helping too. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, just making sure he's still using the little bits of common that Byron taught him. Not relying too much on Ode.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you guys like to do that scene now, or I have one thing that we can do kind of in between to break it up?
I'd say if we break it up, it's not a bad idea since we sort of just did a spore-related scene.
Sounds fair
And
to
an
me.
Ode-related scene.
And an Ode-related scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Byron-related scene.
Yeah, wow, geez. Getting the hits, huh?
Everyone but me and Kezia.
That
Yeah, I feel like you and Kezia should.
Oh yeah.
You and Kezia should have a watch together. I want to see what that looks like.
Yeah, the
Aren't
next
you,
one,
like,
you guys can have the
Teaching
first
each other
watch.
stealth or something?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Probably. No reason to stop teaching.
Oh, we could pull another prank.
Oh my goodness, yes we could.
Yes.
Okay,
Tell me what
okay.
to do and I'll do it.
What do you want to do?
Take this
Okay,
gun.
who's our target? Actually, no.
Hmm.
I'll decide the target.
Okay.
I think we should prank Gartak.
Okay. What should we do?
Any suggestion? Because last time we tried to get your hands moving a little bit, quieter. However,
He does have a lot of jingly bracelets.
I do have a lot of jingly bracelets. I feel like Artak doesn't have like a whole lot of possessions.
Steal his socks. Does he have shoes? I don't know Artok has shoes.
You guys
Artak's
could
only a
steal and
sandals
throw away
guy.
the blight book.
That's perfect.
Ooh, what if... I don't know. This might be kind of fucked up. I don't know. But
Well, what's
what
in
if...
it?
A dead fish in his sleeping bag.
Put the horse's head in his sleeping bag. What if we, like,
Pickles, no.
threw some smiley faces on a bunch of mushrooms and put them by his head, and maybe he'll think the mushrooms are being happy with him now.
oh my gosh, yes, let's find the mushrooms.
What'd you say?
We need to find the mushrooms then.
Hey, do
Or
you
we
guys
could, like,
turn
mix
your
them with, like,
head?
paper.
There's a wall of them.
How do you make a mushroom out of
There's
paper?
moments where you realize that, like Zeka has had this effed up childhood, so, like, deep down he's still like, I love drawing with crayons. I just want to do that all the time.
I am 14.
Yeah,
I
but
lost my childhood.
Yeah, exactly. Your childhood's so effed up, you're just like, I just want to watch Blue's Clues.
I
Exactly.
want Steve to tell me he's still my friend.
Yeah, I need Steve to tell me everything's okay.
Alright, let's go find some mushrooms that we can draw smiley faces on.
Okay.
We do that.
Yeah, you guys are reminded that you're in literally a bubble encased by mushrooms, courtesy of Artak.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
right,
this
great.
is perfect. We did
Like,
that
turn,
very
like,
well.
where are we going to find the mushrooms? Looks up. Okay. Okay, so you got to go in, we're going to sneak into Oat's bag and we're going to yoink some of her stuffs.
Her what?
Paper?
Papers. No, her papers and her inks.
Oh, alright. Let's do that.
Okay. So we gotta sneak over there.
Okay, I'm very good at this now. Did I do it?
Maybe you should take off your armor first, buddy.
What? Wait, I don't even have heavy armor on. I have medium armor on. Oh, wait. Oh, scale mail, you still have disadvantage. Whoop.
I mean, I don't think I really need to say a whole lot. Ode is glow in the dark right now, and your spurs go jingle, jingle, jingle. Ode, after being roused awake by Morak, maybe 3-4 hours later, chunk, chunk, chunk.
I'm just like slowly reaching into the bag with her eyes open.
Yeah, I
and
think
slowly
Owen
retreat.
makes eye contact with Zeka as he reaches into her bag and kind of cocks her head and just like shakes her head a little and then goes back to lying like face down. You know how like when cats sometimes have like cold noses? They like literally lie face down.
I go back to Kezia and I'm like, hey, I think I just learned that, you know how they say if you stand really still, like some species can't see you? I think that Ode can't see me if I stand really still, because she looked and she didn't see me.
Oh. Oh, okay. She definitely saw you.
No, I was standing really still and being very quiet.
No.
Alright, let's make some smiley faces.
I probably should have taught you how to do it rather than just said go and do it. But
we're here now.
Make a performance check to decorate mushrooms. Both of you, I guess, will take the average between the two.
Okay, let's go.
Got to say, did you say performance?
Yep.
What if it was sleight of hand?
What if it was sleight of hand?
What if it was performance?
Okay, 4.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so the average of that is a 10.5. Guys. Because it keeps drawing frowns by mistake.
David, can I Cavalier this? Can both of you make an intelligence check?
I'm very intelligent.
I'm sort of intelligent.
I don't know how I feel about Eric just telling people to make checks.
Wait, why? Why, Eric?
Because if you do well, you know they're not right. If you don't do well, you think these are fucking awesome.
Zeka, yours look pretty good. Kezia? Go ahead. Kezia,
pretty fucking awesome.
Kezia, they look okay. Zeka, you notice Kezia made all her mushrooms have frowny faces instead of smiley faces?
One of them.
Yeah, we were supposed to do the smileys, not the frownies.
Oh.
You know, it's fine. I think, you know, like, if everyone tried to be happy all the time, that'd be, like, super toxic anyway, so I think it's good that there are some happy and some sad mushrooms.
Oh.
Wow, so deep.
Thanks, Ode. You definitely can't see me, right?
No, that was Mary. I apologize.
No, I like the idea that was O just being like, wow, so deep. Can I go to bed?
I was so deep, shut up. You guys are doing this right next to me.
Alright, you guys move towards Artok.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gonna just put them, I guess, in front of his face.
Roll
So when he
stealth
wakes
and
up-
then roll sleight of hand.
I would like to help him.
Zeka, you can roll stealth with advantage.
I think it cancels out because of heavy armor, but I will do it anyway. Okay, I rolled with advantage, but it still did disadvantage. So, but I guess 11 would still...
I'll just go with the first one then. Kezia, go ahead and roll stealth. You guys are realizing that, yeah, go ahead and roll sleight of hand as well. You guys are, you know what, no. Hey, Artok, what's your passive perception?
23.
I mean, even with a mild penalty, you do hear it. It's not like, it's up to you how you interpret that, but you do see them planting some happy, some kind of sad looking mushrooms near you.
Can I roll insight to see if I can figure out what they're doing?
Go
If I
ahead.
can tell
Go-
what's happening.
Go ahead.
Yeah, from a noise, that's interesting.
They just seem like they're, it's hard to tell. What would
Yeah,
your
it is your-
gut
it is your
instinct be to
Zeka
seeing
thing, 'cause, yeah,
mushrooms
there.
planted?
Doesn't look good there.
Is it like, so I hear them putzing about doing something with the dirt. Is it like worrisome enough that a sleeping Artuk would want to open his eyes? Or is this like, I can tell it's my friends and we're all safe and I don't want to open my eyes?
Kezia, Zeka, what do you guys think?
I think it seems like a harmless prank with two giggling people.
Yeah, Kezia's like laughing slightly of like evil.
we have- Yeah, it's like we're grinning.
Okay,
And that's happening, I guess.
Alright. When I make my roll in the morning to try to figure out if I'm fooled or not, I'll make it with advantage, but I'm just going to close my eyes and go back to sleep, not really investigating what's happening around me.
You guys don't seem to notice Artuk. Like, seems like you guys got on him without Without him noticing.
Yes, we are very careful.
The next morning... Well, sorry, do you guys have anything else you want to do before the night closes?
I don't think so. Do you?
Nah.
Oh, sorry. We weren't actually talking to God.
I don't think there's anything else that we really need to take care of. How are you feeling now that Ernalis is safe?
Oh, like super good. Like way better than before. I feel like we're kind of invincible. Like we just like took down an entire like weave scarred thingy, and they didn't even like they like kind of hurt us a little bit, but not really that much. I don't know. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like we're pretty badass.
Kind of concerned that that's going to be a dangerous mindset for the future, but for now I think that's fine.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm trying to set up dramatic foreshadowing or something.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, me neither. Oh, Jesus. What is that music?
Dramatic foreshadowing.
Dramatic foreshadowing indeed.
Sephiroth's music just starts playing.
Why do I hear boss music?
Okay, well, good night, Kezia. Good pranks as usual.
Good night.
As you guys roll over into the morning, you all awaken, owed not as much sleep as you'd liked. Twice interrupted. Just a little bit of a rough morning. But everyone with relatively little issue. Artuk. You look around you, and you notice a large body of mushrooms surrounding you.
Alright, I'm gonna do intelligence to see if I can put it together with last night's events.
Go ahead.
Alright.
You have advantage because of it. Wow. Timely.
Oh, the advantage made a difference.
It did indeed. Let's just roll this to see. Okay. Maybe not exactly, but you get the sense that this isn't necessarily malicious.
Alright, like, I feel like Artuk would definitely be confused on waking up and seeing mushrooms around him, and like, in his like half-awake state, his first thing would be like, fuck, and like, you know, he'd try to like contain his mushrooms again, but then he'd like see that nothing happened when he tried to contain them, which, like, you know, I feel like that roll would have been whether he'd be really worried about that, or he would just put it together with what was happening last night. I'd be like, oh, okay, wait, no, they were just being dumb. So that intelligence roll saved him from a panic attack on waking up and seeing that the mushroom didn't react to his commands anymore. Instead,
but they were smiling.
Instead, he woke up and was like, "They didn't react. Oh, wait, no, we're good. They were messing with me."
Okay.
Happy mushrooms.
So I'm
Attacks.
but then Artuk's gonna be like, "Oh wait, they were trying to be funny," and so like I'm gonna wake up and like note like they're probably watching me to see like how I react to it or anything, and I wake up and like,
out.
Are they?
I am.
If they were watching at all, they wake up and like they see me like noticeably not react, and then realize that they were looking for a reaction and they would feel bad if they didn't get the reaction that they wanted out of their prank, and so Artuk's like, "Oh no, the mushrooms! They're out of control! Yeah, Zeka, help! The mushrooms!"
Hey, Morak,
Oh.
roll insight. Hey, Artuk, roll deception.
Wait, who roll insight?
Oh shit! That's like stupid good for Artuk.
Morak, could you
Hell
roll?
yeah.
Could you roll
Did
insight?
you mean Morak or Zeka?
No, I mean Morak.
What?
Morak, I want to explain this. Morak, imagine hearing that in the morning immediately after your conversation with Artuk the previous night.
Morak, like, opens up, like, his hand immediately turns on a firebolt, and then he pulls out his sword and lights it on fire, green flame blade. He's ready to burn some shit.
Artuk's like, "No, Morak, I got it. It's all good now. We're okay. Everything's fine."
You can't do that to people.
Right. My bad. It was a
Did you
bad.
think that was funny?
It was a bad prank. That was just a bad prank. I'm sorry.
In what world would you think making all these, like, little tiny paper mushrooms around you while you're sleeping and then being like, oh no, this is all crashing down, we're all gonna die? That's not a funny prank, Auto.
Oh,
I think it's pretty funny.
I
They
thought
are
it was
made of
pretty
paper.
good. I mean, look, some
Right.
of them are smiling. Although, why are some of them frowning?
Like, I don't know, like, where'd you get the crayons? Where'd you get the... Ode, are you in on this?
I don't know a lot of the details either, but I did it. That's what I did.
You know, Artok, you're coming along really nicely on becoming a comedian. I'm really proud of you.
What comedian do you think...
I'm not proud of this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you shouldn't be. Like, that's not a nice way to treat friends in the morning, saying, oh, we're all about to die.
Right. Yep. I will not make this mistake again. I am sorry.
I mean, he said it's just a prank, bro.
It's just a prank, bro. Come on.
I don't think you guys understand words mean things.
Moving into
totally
the rest
understand
of
that.
the day.
I think Artok was being savage. Man.
After a rough morning, the
Just a social experiment, bro.
the party begins to move further on into the Forsaken Wastes. I would so you guys have at your disposal a world map saying there's a cave system somewhere near Columbus, Ohio, and you guys are currently in Ohio, to give a frame of reference.
Oh, shit, we're not even in Columbus?
No.
Are we in Toledo?
God help you. No. Good Lord, no, I'm
This
not
is
that
about
mean.
it, shitty.
That would just be a death sentence. But, so you guys have a basic direction to move towards, but I would like you to move into a skill challenge. The goal of this is to kind of move more towards the ruins, or at least isolate the information to finding it. Basically, aiding in your search.
So we have an old, like, I know Morax map is an old, like, not old, an orcish map. So as where all of the old cities and settlements would be in the Empire.
Yes.
I think Morax would... I'll do it in character. I'm going to suggest that we move towards the nearest Imperial settlement that we know of. I know it would be ruins right now, but I think we could get our grounding and figure out where we are from there.
Well, I mean, we started out about, what was it, 3 or 4 miles outside of Harry Magi?
Yes.
Well, what direction did we move? North, south, east, west?
Great question.
Northeast.
Well, let's see. We've traveled northeast about how much, would you say? Artok, I think you've probably got the best sense of distance.
Right. How far do I think we've moved? Like, do I have any?
I will say I do not think that we could travel more than 20 miles a day.
I'm trying to...
Oh my god, that would be, like, I'm pretty sure
Like, you guys...
D&D rules, that would be a lot.
You also were slowed down, you had to climb, you had to stop. I'm gonna say you guys have moved... I'm gonna say over the course of the week and day, so 8 days, I'm gonna say right around 60 miles or so.
Alright. Morak, do you mind if I borrow that map?
Yeah, here you go.
Alright. I'll open it up and look for a scale, as all good maps should have in the corner.
I will fucking end you.
We just... No, Dave,
does
just
it have
make
a
it
scale?
Easy, we go towards the nearest settlement, like a small village that used to be there, or a small city, or a town, or anything that we can go near to get our footing.
Well, we should be able to get our footing because we know where we were and we know how far we went. That's what I was going for.
We don't fully know, like, where we were dropped off in relation to Harry and Magi.
I mean, we'll know within a half mile because he said he dropped us off 4 miles outside.
I'm going to put a dot on the map, okay? It's gonna be this bright purple one just for simplicity.
Oh man, all my drawings are gone.
There's that. Wait, did I move you guys over? Okay, I did. So,
I can see it. It's very small, but
there's that there. You guys are. That's definitely too far anyway, but whatever. I'm gonna say you're here-ish. You guys find a notable river to kind of get a bearing on, and that is kind of where this next part of the skill challenge begins, is you are at a river and having found your bearing, you're thereabout.
All right. Now, based off that, Zeka, what did Ernest say? Did he like mark on this map the approximate area of it?
I did.
He did.
Right
so
around
we
where
do
that...
have that little drawing there.
We have that because Morax figured that out when he interfaced with the computer last time.
I think that one was actually with Archeron, but you still do have that info.
Oh yeah,
so
I figured out where the other computers were. This one was like just a lab or whatever, right?
Yes. Well, you're not entirely sure, but basically, yeah.
I know where the big bases are.
Yes, you do.
Based off everything we have that we know, we just need to keep moving northeast.
Oh, dang. That is a lot more than I expected per day. Okay.
Let's just keep moving northeast. Here, Baron will turn to Artuk, give him enhanced ability wisdom, and say, I think you should probably lead the way in terms of directions, because I have the most faith in your ability to guide us in terms of...
certainly try.
And then he'll turn to Morak and give him enhanced ability intelligence, and I trust you to use this map correctly. And he'll give him that. And go, all right, onwards and upwards.
Okay, we're just gonna go through a skill challenge. So this is going to take place not just over the course of a day, but over the course of, I'll say, as many days as it takes, moving through. So, Artuk, would you like to start?
Sure.
How would you like to begin this part of the challenge?
With Byron's help from the enhanced ability, I am just going to go ahead and do exactly what he asked and start trying to lead the way. I'm gonna, note where we've traveled so far, where we thought it was on the map, and sort of just try to, put together from the way the landscape is and things like that, how to move forward with it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll survival.
Survival.
I think survival works for this.
Cool. With advantage because of enhanced ability. 23.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, you're able to set a good pace. In fact, I will say to reflect that you are able to, with the group's collective, you are able to identify the river and just this. Luckily, this is a slightly older map, but that particular facet has not changed, and you are able to kind of find a bearing and say, okay, we have to go this way. We don't have a compass, but if it follows along that way, then that's the direction, and kind of just set the pace.
I feel like one of us would have a compass, though.
If it's in one of your packs, then you guys do have a compass.
Yeah.
See what's in the Dungeoneer's pack.
While you guys look through that, though, Adam, what's kind of an interesting geological feature that you guys pass by?
I feel like we find a relatively big flat area that has no life in it whatsoever at first, as we're walking, and we kind of take a moment to note that it's kind of strange that like there's not even any grass or anything like that. But on like a little bit of investigation and thinking about our night before, we realized that this is where that crab had been sitting for probably some number of days, and it had just killed everything that was underneath it. Or a crab like it.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, you guys managed to make it to Crab Plains. I'm gonna add that to my notebook. But you guys managed to make it to Crab Plains and are kind of find a new bearing. It's getting a little trickier to kind of keep it, but you sense that if nothing else, you guys have found a good heading to begin on. Begin your journey. Who would like to go next?
So, let's see. Byron, recognizing that this is not his strong suit, will then go, let's see, I still got one more of these. Let's see who to go with. Oh, come here. And he'll pat her on the shoulder and give her enhanced ability, dexterity, and say, that way, if we ever need to, you can very easily climb up like some trees and scout ahead and push. Go get him.
Okay.
Because he has no abilities for helping with travel. He's very bad at that.
Fair enough. Who would like to go then?
Well, he just gave enhanced ability to Ode, right?
Yep.
So,
Also Morax.
Also Morax. Okay. I was trying to think. I always feel like somewhat limited by skill challenges in trying to be like, okay, like what is Ode good at, and thinking around that. But this time, especially based off of what Byron just said, I can more like think of like what would Ode do, and then that would actually be helpful, and then kind of like move backwards from there. So, Carson, your idea for Ode was to like scout ahead as much as possible.
Yeah, like scout ahead, possibly climb up trees and stuff to get a good vision out farther to see of any like coming threats or anything like that.
Yeah, so I think Ode will do that, but then like as much as possible, if it's like cloudy or ever like early in the morning or approaching dusk, she'll try to like pair that with her shadow stuff ability to like just kind of pop. Like you'll see Ode kind of like, I don't know, I imagine it in the same way of the Eric, who's the one X-Man who's like
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler, almost Nightcrawler-esque, like not as jerky, like more of a smooth movement, but just kind of like step. It seemed like she's stepping like almost to the side, and then you see like a figure 60 feet in the distance. So she'll do that like kind of a couple times to like get some distance ahead of the group and kind of like, but then pop back to report back, kind of what is like 300 feet ahead or something. And so I think that's what Ode will do to help the group.
Okay. I would like you to make an acrobatics check. You'll have advantage because of Byron's enhanced ability.
Wonderful. Woo!
Fuck yes.
Okay. Now, as you're moving through, you are able to just nimbly dodge, move through. You actually end up cresting another hill, climbing up a tree, and then you feel a little jitter, and you're like, oh no, another crab hill, and you are able to drop down and kind of roll as it kind of takes off towards just another track of birds. But through your scouting and through your kind of parkour skills, you are able...
Wait, for this high acrobatics, can we say that it starts like, she kind of like feels the, almost like tremble, is that the word? Of like a hill that's about to like get up and start moving? And she kind of like starts darting down it steeply, like mixing shadow step and just kind of like almost sliding down this like steep hill to get to the bottom and like kind of jump off right as it's like lifting up onto its legs.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
Sweet.
I will also say, just for the narrative's sake, this is occurring over the course of a few days. So this particular thing kind of occurs over the course of 2 days. By the time you guys took your next rest after that particularly rough day for Morax, you see the magic from Ode's fur dissipate and return back to normal.
Oh, right. I forgot she was still glowing.
I was actually about to ask that.
So after you guys rest one more time, next morning you notice that the glow has entirely faded. But because of that, you're able to go through the... She won't stop
complaining about the potential of glowing forever.
It was just a 24-hour thing. But yeah, you are able to absolutely do that and kind of just roll with it. And between Shadow Step and your own just natural acrobatic ability, able to dodge away, guide the party through to yet another area, and kind of just set them up well for the next leg. Who would like to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
I was thinking Zeka can kind of like be looking around at the different foliage and try and like figure out maybe what plants are dangerous and which ones could be useful for like cooking and like keeping everyone's spirits up. So I wanted to make an herbalism kit check to like get a vibe of what the herbs are like here and how he could use them medicinally / for food, and also identifying which ones we should avoid.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make an herbalism check. The DC is going to be a little higher just because of the kind of region you're in, but I have something special if you do succeed.
Right. Give me a try. Okay. That's probably not going to work.
Along the way, it's harder to move through. Just between these plants just being naturally very meddled with by magic, like you, and just not being super familiar with it, it's kind of hard to identify any. The problem basically comes from you looking around and you're able to find like some grass, some mushrooms, maybe nothing really there. You end up finding yourself in kind of a bit of a grove, you and the whole party, and you eventually spot like what looks like a very rare and interesting flower. And you begin to move towards it, but as you reach towards it, you look around right before you grab it. You see just a hint of motion back, just a little further back in the grove, and your hand's just before grabbing the flower, but you pull back immediately as like this almost anglerfish Venus flytrap floral monster tries to bite down on you and pulls back.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
How big is it?
What?
Is something we gotta fight? Like, Zeka was about to bite, like, I'm assuming inches away from touching its dangly bit.
Yeah. It doesn't, as it bites at Zeka and pulls away, it doesn't seem like it's going after Zeka. It seemed like it was going after something that went for its bait. It's not, what's it called? What's it called? Feed me, Seymour. Fuck.
Audrey?
It's not Audrey 2, but it looks a little bit like Audrey 2.
I was about to say Littlest Pet Shop, which is definitely not what that's.
Littlest Pet Shop of horrors.
If we just find a solo one puppy in this wasteland, that thing's gonna kill us.
A little plastic puppy toy.
One puppy.
Okay. But yeah, you're able to pull your hand away, and it ultimately does not come to any harm, because that wasn't bad enough that I'm going to punish you. It just doesn't succeed, and you're just not able to really find any herbs. You get a little bit of a freak out because, geez, that thing, like, I could have messed with your arm. Maybe not taken it off, but definitely fucked it up. But then you think also, you have magical healing powers and are in a party of people who are uniquely suited to killing everything. You don't learn the lesson you maybe should have.
Correct. Nothing gained, nothing lost. I do, just like as a general thing though, I do have detect magic up, like, at all times.
You see, like, littering this place, like, in the soil, in the plant. It's a bit like if you turned on night vision goggles in the middle of the day. It's not like,
okay, maybe I'll turn it off on occasion then.
Yeah, it's just like, it's okay in small bursts, but, like, if you keep that on, you're just gonna give yourself a migraine. Okay, Sunny isn't here. Zeka's gone. Ode went. Morax, Kezia, and Ken. Which one of you guys would like to go next?
Morax would like to use his map map skills to see if there's any. Like this used to be like in the Imperial territory, and we're traveling a river. I'm right.
The river was for that particular section. You've kind of moved away from it, but you can still. What are you trying to do?
Well, I'm just wondering because like if we're going to a lab, that in Morax's mind he'd think, okay, that means there is an Imperial base there at one point. And if there's a base, that means it's probably near water or something. There's probably other settlements. I would be interested in trying to find an old village or a settlement or anything that has been wrecked over the years and possibly try to spend a night or two there to recoup because I feel like we're all exhausted.
Okay. Yep, I think that... What skill do you think that would be?
Let me see.
Ideally one with intelligence, because I gave him insensibility for that.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Oh, that was more to David than you.
I want to you're going to have we'll see.
Can he make an intelligence check to establish or challenge his assumption that an illicit base would be near an Imperial camp at all? Like, because, I don't know, he just kind of made that assumption.
Well, I think that's his role. Like, the thing is, he might be right. He's not it's not crazy that he's right because of it, but it isn't necessarily correct. So if he's got the mark, then...
He could, like, doing a check, how he would disprove that thought. Because he's just thinking that every single place we've gone to so far has been, like, a lab or a base so far. And
well, except for the first place, that was just a random cave.
That's true. I guess it's just because we're in Imperial territory, and the last one we were at was an Imperial base. So he's just assuming that one. I don't know if, like Morak would like to find a village that we could spend a night or two at, so that we don't have to constantly, like, sleep in the wilderness, and we might have some protection.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we could see what this weave tearing did to villages and stuff like that, and learn a little bit of lore.
Sure thing. Here, let me look over this real quick. I'm gonna say you guys have never been here, but you have a map. I'm gonna say investigation. It's gonna be a net neutral.
Check.
As you're moving through, you guys, Morak, you begin to kind of follow this thread, and you are able eventually to find an Imperial village, because you are correct. This is the Imperial Heartlands. This is specifically used to be farming areas. There's going to be inevitably a farm, whether abandoned or not. The issue is not finding it there. You're able to get there, and you see it is just... It's just ransacked, abandoned. Like, you see, like, the parts of it that are... Like, half the building is succumbed to natural decay. The other half looks like just this strange, magical chicanery. Like, you see, like, elements of frost along the outside. You see, like, parts of the building at the very edge. Like, wood warped into stone, warped into brick. Like... It looks like this place has just been here in effectively Chernobyl for years, and it's just slowly being twisted and messed with, in addition to just being fucked up. That's going to be a fail because of it. Are you, just as a one final thing, are you looking for something specific in here, or...
No, I just think we've been traveling on the road, and he'd like to spend the night, like, in something with at least 2 walls.
Okay. I think it's been about 5 days or so. About 5 days since you guys left off from where Artug made his hallucinatory terrain cover. And I think you guys actually do come to rest at this kind of abandoned, just worn down farmhouse. You guys, it seems as good a place as any, and it's getting late in the day that going any further is just inviting trouble. And if you guys would like, and if as you guys take a rest, Ode, Artuk, and Byron, you guys wanted to mess with the Blight Book, correct? Were there any other scenes anyone wanted to do besides messing with the Blight Book?
Oh yeah.
Okay, then we're gonna use this as kind of the mid.
David, this might be metagaming. Is this skill challenge, like at the end of the skill challenge, we will be at the base?
You have no idea. You guys are navigating a section of a country unfamiliar to you, and you guys have a general goal in mind. You seem like first couple days you're making good progress.
For individual scenes, like I want Morak to like kind of put the helmet on and see what happens to him.
Okay,
like,
then as that scene comes up, we'll address it. But like, I'm not gonna answer whether you guys will be right there or whether you guys are just to the next step. If you get my meaning.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, he wouldn't, like, if the end of this, like, I'd like to do it now when we're not, he's not going to do it when we're at the base.
Do the scene.
Just trying to think of...
Just do the scene. Just trust me on that.
Cool. You guys want to do your Blight Locker thing now?
Sure, I guess we can do that first or either way.
Yeah, you guys kind of wind your night to an end. One more thing. Kezia and Byron, you guys will be the next ones doing a skill challenge once you guys kind of give up your rest or once you guys move on from the rest here, just so you're aware so you can think of ideas. But
I actually had an idea for Byron if it comes up.
Okay. But yeah, you guys begin your night's rest. It's meager accommodations. As I said, not utterly ruined. It's at the very least some amount of shelter, but it's certainly not ideal. Man, you guys set your camp in this abandoned farmhouse.
Ode, if this is an alright time since we have a little bit of daylight left before it gets too dark. Byron too. You guys want to try to... I think we're getting close to the end of the book.
Sure, sounds good.
Alright, then Artuk would, sort of find a place that's not terribly uncomfortable for 3 people to sit, and then sit down and start going through like we've been doing, which is sort of, Artuk helps with the druidic parts that are just sort of symbols and, things that wouldn't have meaning to a normal person that he understands, and then the two of them... And with the little bit he's got, Byron helping along the way, get through the common that sort of bridges the parts that are druidic.
Okay.
And I believe Ode's helping because she can cast comprehend languages. So
she's the only one that can read both.
Yeah.
Okay. As you begin to go through it, first things you immediately pick up on is that this book, it's old. Not ancient, it's not millennia, but it's older. It's definitely over 100 years old. Shockingly well kept, but still a little on the fragile side.
Sure.
It is written by someone named Idion the Tracker. Ode, could you make a history check for me?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, as you go through it, Idion the Tracker, they're kind of a Lewis and Clark-esque figure from about 150 years ago. They basically went west and began to kind of just explore more of the world, kind of begin to put a proper map together of the world. They were a cartographer, an explorer, an adventurer, pretty much all those titles under the sun. And they are relatively well received as far as they were very detailed about kind of taking things down. So you get the sense this is a at least what specifically are you guys looking for in the book? Are there any like specific questions that you are trying to focus on?
Well, I know we've been kind of reading the whole book, so you had described one chapter to me before. So do you kind of want to describe like what the general overall book looks like, or like the contents are, like in a general sense? So we have that.
And then if I have like
That's
if we
a
have
good idea.
specific questions, like if there's any info on those questions we have. Otherwise, just sort of generally what each chapter is saying.
Sure thing. So it's written as the account of Idion the Tracker as they are going around and exploring a phenomena called the Blight that just seemed to appear, and kind of tracking its mythology, its effect, its both the myth and the reality of it. It seemed like they at some point learned about whatever the Blight was and started going to affected areas, affected peoples, to trying to piece together what precisely it was, what it affected, how much of it was real and how much of it was exaggerated. Immediately going through, you get the sense that he determined, yes, it is real, and it seems to, and just the general nature, he seemed to, over the course of time, kind of piece together what you guys already know just from dealing with Artuk, just death stalks around those who are affected. It manifests and it grows more powerful over time. And the part that, you read specifically is that a very common solution to this was for druidic circles that are interacting with this was to kill whomever it was that was affected. It was a semi-known thing. It was almost like kind of the myth of the Wendigo, to give a frame of reference. It's not as though it's like we all know that we druidic circles all know and share this kind of analytical knowledge, so much as we all know of the legend of a Blightwalker, and the general consensus is to kill them before their death can spread.
So, is it popping up in the book that Blightwalkers seem to appear in druidic circles, or can appear like in cities too?
It definitely seems more focused on druidic circles. It seems to be that regardless of... There are some accounts of, as they discuss, druids that sometimes are... or druids or those who are affected sometimes are affected by this and are then killed. Sometimes they run away, and that effect can leach out. There's just scattered reports from farmers of crops that were incredibly healthy suddenly withering into nothingness, getting into towns, and just the report of like a guard from like 30 years prior recounting, oh yeah, that guy who was just carried this weird aura about him. We ran him out of town, or there was a lynch mob or something in town. Things of that nature. It seems like this account is always based on second or third hand accounts. It never directly addressed someone who was affected by it because they were either dead or hidden away.
So Idion never talked to a Blightwalker, and there's no accounts of like an interview with a Blightwalker essentially here.
Not immediately. Not as you go through it.
Does it ever go over like how it started, like even just the mythology behind that? Like with Wendigos, kind of pulling off of your same idea, like the whole idea with the Wendigos that they were a cannibal, so they got this curse. Is there anything like that for this?
It does go into the myth. A lot of it is not dismissed outright, but definitely not applicable to Artuk. It's druids who betrayed their circle in some way. That's kind of what several of them say. So they defiled a grove or destroyed it, for instance. They made a pact with a city out of greed to get something. Basically, the betrayal of nature. There's others that go through of it's just a natural force of death that manifests. Others say that it is this kind of... it's this malevolent force that travels around and particularly affects people to spread death. Idion, though, as you go through it, you notice that there seems like a lot of this, as I said, is kind of secondhand accounts recounting, and there's often a kind of summary at the end of Idian's thoughts. It's a bit pretentious when you read through it the first time, but you get used to it. You note that he kind of remarks that whatever it is, it seems that whatever mythology is twisted, and there aren't a lot of clear answers. Whatever, and this seems to have been going on for, this book is about 150 years old, centuries even before then. So identifying a specific root cause is very difficult.
Sure. As we're going through and those accounts are coming up, I'm also going to keep a keen eye out for anything that in any of the accounts could be interpreted as the Oracle or the woman that I've been seeing in my dreams, if she's recurring at all or if she's unique to me.
The Oracle from your dreams or the woman Ashira you were told to fetch?
Specifically either. Like, that is to say one or the other. There
is, in some of the ways to kind of how to combat it, there is talk of sometimes a grove would not necessarily kill the person, they would exile them. And often those exiles would be told, seek, like, elder knowledge. Seek those who have traversed the plains. Seek those who have attuned to nature even beyond the grove's capabilities. Those who breathe life and understand the balance. It's nothing specific, but kind of the wider consultation of those with kind of elder magic, like the more ancient druidic magics. You go through, and it kind of see that. You do eventually see, though, towards the end, Idian refer to a very particular tribe from the... One second, I'm trying to remember my own map. Sorry, could you repeat that?
That was going to be my next question, if you brought up any specific tribes.
A tribe far to the south, into kind of the elven forests, that Idian somehow managed to make contact with. And they also knew of this, and they simply referred to one called the Wild as kind of a means of seeking purification. Beyond that, it's a little tricky to find specific answers.
Sure. In any of the accounts, did any of the afflicted seem to... Was there any other talk of a similar situation to our talk where they came to some level of control or not symbiosis, but near symbiosis with the blight itself, or was it always a dominating and destroying force in every single account?
You know it's a dominating, destroying force, but you also are realizing as you go through a lot of this is secondhand. So it's always written by the grove that exiled them, the farmers that talked about death stalking. So that one's a little harder to tell on whether it's never happened or whether it's just biased accounting.
Yep, that makes sense. All right. Out of curiosity, is there any mention of a Blightwalker ever from the forests that I'm from before me? Because I think to myself and note to myself that the Elder knew of this.
There is indeed.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, there is. How deep are you going to try to dig into that particular kernel? But you do notice, and you, having gotten your kind of world knowledge more developed, you know that your specific woods, your tribe isn't the right word. I can't remember what you've used.
Herd is what I used.
Your herd is not referenced by name because that just isn't kind of the nature of it, but that region, and it makes a specific note of like the idea of a very carefully managed population. You feel very confident referring to it, and you see in this one a specific mention of someone who was affected by it probably 3-4 centuries prior to you guys now, so 400 years ago. Wait, no, 200 years ago. Sorry, jumping time. 200 years ago, leaving and heading west.
West. Okay, so like, well, west of where it's like southwest, so that like past Capra and out into the swamps, almost towards Cathartis.
It
straight
says
west would just be the
it
ocean.
says west, and you notice a few notes on it that seem to make reference to, once again, this one was, they tried to kill them. They tried to kill them, and they fled in a manner not dissimilar to you. But it seemed as though the herd was of the opinion they would either die out there, or more likely they were trying to find some way to become purified.
Gotcha.
But they distinctly mention that they headed west, and they chased them down for a while, but just the natural blight harmed some members of the herd such that they recoiled because they didn't think they could catch up.
Gotcha. No specific like misdirection or anything. It was just the blight effects. I wouldn't think of any, like, you know, how I had interference in my escape.
Hard to tell. It seems like it's just, again, hard to answer that knowledge from secondhand accounts.
Gotcha. All right. Is there anything else super notable in here, or is that? I mean, that's a lot already. I'm happy for it.
As you do close the book, though, you do see one final account. It's written probably 10 years. It's specifically noted as being written like several years after the fact, after the rest of it. It seems like Idion must have come back to it, and it just kind of speaks to a lead. And as it reads, it says, Through my studies and adventures, I have identified an individual of particular note. A sage, a guardian, I'm not sure of their exact role, but they seem, by all accounts, remarkably powerful. One known as a Shira. It is my belief that they reside far to the west of the world. I'm not sure whether on Akelia, whether towards Catra or Hawk's Summit, but I will be making my way there. I leave this journal in the hands of the Cerulean Eye in hopes that this may be preserved for some time. If I am successful, I intend to return and provide a further retelling of my tales. If that is not the case, I wish those who follow after me good luck. End.
All right. That was a lot.
Yeah. David, with a 20 history, and I don't know if you all were so fortuitous at your school, but my school, elementary and middle school growing up, would do that thing where they would hire these people who must tour around the country and do little historical plays, because I just distinctly remember like a Lewis and Clark and Sacagawea, like really boring, random, like educational play, like going to that when I was in elementary school. So I like to think that Ode saw one of these for this person, if he's like a Lewis and Clark analog. Would Ode know what race this explorer was?
Half elven.
Half elven. Okay.
That's why you could live so long.
But yeah, I'll say Ode because of that. You distinctly remember that this particular individual is a bit of a Lewis and Clark figure, so there is that kind of show of just the romanticized version of the tales and kind of just traveled around. And you're sensing that maybe that particular history was a bit whitewashed, much like a lot of history, but, you know, they got most of it right. Half-elf adventurer who traveled the world and kind of mapped it and did the best to provide knowledge. Not a figurehead in this role, but a respected fellow. You're noticing a lot more just dirty jokes and just a lot of frustration in this journal that maybe didn't get to the rest of the history books.
Okay, that makes sense.
Ode, if you know about this guy, do you know how the story ends? If the story is ended?
Well, let me think. I guess if this was written 100 years ago, and then David, what does Ode know if this guy is alive?
Roll history.
Or at least
Would my previous 20 count?
I don't think so, because this is a different question.
Okay, 9.
Adventure from 100 years ago. I don't think that was Ode's exact area of focus. So, you know that he adventured for a very long time. But, towards the middle of his life was where a lot of discoveries were made, and it kind of fizzled out towards the end. So, not exactly sure. There might be a record.
Ode will kind of scratch the back of her head uncomfortably and be like, actually, that was kind of one of the more boring plays they took us to when we were kids at the monastery, one of those educational ones. So, no.
That's all right. I mean, this is already, thank you guys so much, more info than I ever had. I wasn't even sure leaving originally when I ran away if this was something that had ever happened to anybody else before, and now, I'm really sure that it happens all the time to lots of different people, and that I'm not the only one ever who found it. And I know, a couple of different leads towards where I could be headed. And actually, strange as it sounds, I've told you before, being prodded and helped along the way, towards figuring this out. And, I was given a message to go and seek Ashira, and now I know that that's maybe the force that could help me out here by this last note. There's also this.
Yeah, it seems like this kind of corroborates that following that message would be heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I think so. I think, the big notes to take from this is I'm already doing the right things, and also I'm not alone, which is a kind of big thing. I wonder if there's anybody else out there in the world like me right now. I'm not the only one or anything like that, or if it's one at a time, or anything like that.
Regarding that, actually, I meant to give this particular note. It seems like the discovery of the Blight happens... He noticed, this is about when it showed up. Roughly speaking, it's usually several decades between each. Not every 20 years on the full moon, so much as there seems like time and then a new one appears. You're not sure whether it's one dies and it passes to the next or anything like that, but...
Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions left, but at least, I know A, I'm not the only one, B, I'm going the right way, C, the wild thing to the south is completely new to me. I've never heard of this before at all, and maybe I'll ask Ashira about it, or even if I have another dream, I might ask about it at some point. I don't really get to choose when I talk to her, though. She kind of picks when she thinks it's useful. It's really speaking in riddles all the time, which is confusing, but I understand it's how it has to happen for some reason.
I could ask Miss Stara.
Oh, yeah, that would be a big help if there's any info there at all. It's, the later I get into this, the book's right. The longer this has gone, the more powerful it's gotten. And luckily for me, because I'm traveling with you guys, the more powerful I've gotten too, so I've been able to hold it at bay. But it seems like it's starting to get more powerful faster and faster, and I'm not sure I'm keeping up with it. And so, if I can get help, it'd be good to get it as soon as possible, or I worry about, a time coming where it has more power than I do over my body.
Well,
and
if you can ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days, that maybe doesn't apply.
Yeah.
I mean, we could see short term whether or not, it'll give in.
I guess, if they're free for you to ask and it's not trouble, you could ask if it's going to overpower me in the next week or so. But I'm not sure that even Nasara knows that for sure. I think it probably depends a lot on what I do.
Right. Well, I mean, it costs 25 gold pieces every time I want to. I have to bake really good bread whenever I want to talk to Mistara, but...
Pay any time for it. I really don't care about money.
If you want me to, I can. I feel like even... I mean, the whole 7 days thing, I think that's more of a guideline than an actual, like, rule, you know?
Yeah, sure. I'd be willing to give that a shot in a sec here. But first, you started to say
Sure.
something, Ode?
What? What was that?
I just said, did you start to say something?
Oh, well, yeah, I was thinking too. What is the name of the person? Kira?
Ashira.
Ashira. It's possible that if you haven't heard from her in a while, maybe she's waiting for you to call. And maybe you could, like, in the monastery they teach us a lot about ki, and I'm not sure if I can pass all that along, but I actually have it in my notes somewhere, and she kind of glances at her bag that still just has, like, random papers sticking out, that I was going to help Byron with some key work, like, when he was back still going by Byron and not Ken, so potentially if you think about contacting Ashira, that might help with, like, being able to contact her.
I mean, yeah, some sort of
Actually, I just reread my bread, this spell. I can talk to any deity. So if you wanted to ask a question of her specifically, I could do that.
Oh boy, I'm not sure she's
Yeah, that
deity.
sounds like much more of a straightforward path than meditating on it.
I actually think that the meditating, you know, every time I've talked so far with, Ashira's not the one that I talk to I don't actually know if she is or not, but I don't think she's the one I'm talking to in my dreams. Ashira is what's waiting for me to the west. But
wait, who's the person from your dreams then? Just
I have no name for her whatsoever. She's just been helping. She could be Ashira. She's been helping me since the very beginning of this. And you know, I first
we
met
should
her.
call her Nature Dream Lady.
Yeah,
now.
Maybe that's the wild that the book was talking about? Ashira, or this dream woman of yours?
Yeah, I mean, that could be. I've never even questioned really who she is. Just been thankful for her helping. But I think that, you know, not knowing whether or not she is actually a deity, like, you know, it could be useful to try to ask her questions directly through magic. But if not, it seemed like I've had a much more sort of spiritual connection with her the whole way through. If you could, I mean, I've never tried it before, but if you could guide me in, you know, some sort of meditation and stuff, I'd be willing to give it a shot. I think that could be interesting, and, you know, at the very worst, I get to sit and learn about how you meditate and something that's important to you, Ode.
No, yeah, that's
Well, yeah, that's great. I was just gonna say we can do both ideas, and Ode like nods encouragingly at Zeka.
That's a good idea. I think both are reasonable. So here, Zeka, and I pull out 2 platinum and 5 gold pieces, and I hand them to Zeka.
Oh, thank you.
This is specifically for the ritual.
All right.
But let's see.
And he takes them out of his coin purse. He said, "Oh, okay, yeah."
I don't know if Ashira is a deity. She seems almost more like an oracle to me. Maybe the wild's a deity. I don't know. Something like maybe try asking one of them something.
I can talk to a god or a god's servant. So if they are a servant of another god, we can talk to them. The way that I interpret this is, as long as you have a general idea of who you're trying to talk to, like, and you have a connection with them, which clearly you do, like, we'll be able to, like, make that happen. I've been studying a lot about this. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I've been making a lot of sourdough lately.
Sure.
Oh,
yeah.
is that what the smell is?
Yeah, I've been working on this bread bowl with this like soup that I make. It kind of makes you feel weird for a little while, but like once you're done, it's like you're like, whoa, I feel so connected with my god right now.
Are you sure you're not allergic to shellfish?
To what?
Shellfish. I mean, what's the soup that you're putting in there? It's kind of white and clammy.
Oh, it's this recipe I found. It's called ayahuasca.
I just grabbed shit and I put it in there. Just literal shit. It's not like a metaphorical, like, oh, I grab a bunch of things. No, I find feces and I eat it.
Is there feces in ayahuasca?
I don't know.
But anyway, yeah, let's try it. Why not?
Yeah,
Maybe-
sure.
Maybe the three of us can do like a little like prayer circle here.
Yeah, let's start with that.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Maybe
Let's
start
do
with-
some ayahuasca. Fuck.
Maybe start with the
Oh
prayer
my.
circle, and if that doesn't work, turn it into a meditation circle.
If that doesn't
Yeah.
work, take drugs.
Yeah, mine is definitively secular, but I'm here for you emotionally.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you need like some like drum ambiance for your ayahuasca circle, I can minor illusion some of that for you.
Whatever you all think will help might. I don't even know if this is, related to deities or gods at all, or if this
Me
is all,
neither.
that's why we're trying to see if it would even do anything.
All right, let's give it a shot. Okay, hang on. I'm
Sure.
marking off
Are we-
a use.
Do we want to try Ashira or the Wild, and what do we want to ask about that's like within a week?
Well, what do you want to ask, Byron? Or Artuk?
Guys, this is for you, homie.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole something that'll happen within a week is tricky.
Well, we can maybe it can be something like I don't know. Am I getting better control of the? It's like if you're thinking about your life as like a line, right? It's like 7 days is like a concise short version of your life, and you can kind of if you're to draw a tangent line over these 7 days of how you are improving, then we could find an equation of what am I saying right now? I literally don't know.
I went, frankly, Zeka, I went cross-eyed.
I mean, I figure that's not a terrible, I think what you were getting at there, though I'm a little confused, was ask if this is if this is going to keep getting worse.
Yeah, some spiritual calculus.
Yeah, will the
that
spores
would
continue
mean
to grow
like
in
it.
power?
Artuk, could you possibly, is it any question, or does it have to be an event over the next 7 days?
I think it has to be related to the next, some things that are happening in the next 7 days, or could happen in the next 7 days, or things like that.
Because, granted, I'm very confident in my skills to read a map. I would like to just know if we're going in the right direction, honestly.
I'm trying to keep this one, at least trying to ask the Wild and Ashira to, talking about, what's going on with me. I feel like that would be a question
Yeah,
for,
okay,
Nara.
yeah, I understand.
Okay.
It's a little bit more of a me thing. I'm sorry for hijacking. We should ask about your mushrooms.
How about this? So we can either ask about an event, a specific goal, or an activity. So maybe the goal is to not lose control of the mushrooms.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe, we ask, hey, just generally, in the interest of the goal of not losing control of the mushrooms, what's the trajectory? Where am I headed? What do I need?
Mm-hmm. Or we could say, maybe your goal is to get in better contact with them, and we could be like, how can he get in better contact with you? How can he...
All I know so far is, I got a dream saying go back to my home and, the woods there, but I have, in a very similar problem to what we've got going here, that's a big place with, a little dot, and we'd have to search all over the place, and I'd be real confused. Maybe, more specific guidance towards that, with the goal of eventually finding help, how, give me some guidance, that sort of a thing.
Let's leave it up to them the best way to respond by saying, what is the best way to improve your situation? That way, if they feel like we need more guidance, they can tell us that, or if they want to chat you up right now, they can do that.
All of these, yes, that I like this.
All right. Let's sit in the circle. Are you ready, Ode?
Yeah.
Are you ready, Artuk?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right, and Zeka will prepare some fantasy ayahuasca, and
I'll get some drums going in the background.
And I like to think, since Artuk's not a particularly religious person or anything, that sort of instead of prayer, it's a similar ritual to the normal prayer that he would do, if it was Mystara or something. But I'm sort of asking Ode to help guide me through meditation and like learn on like some of the sort of like find that connection that I have, and that like sort of, if it's like internal within myself, sort of find sort of myself and peace with myself there, and see if I can like, you know, increase the clarity that way, and sort of find it rather than through prayer, through that sort of self-searching.
Yeah, as like Zeka is preparing his thing, Ode will kind of describe like her understanding of ki, as it was taught her at the monastery, and how like different monk abilities come from understanding a flow of ki, and just kind of like give like an overview there for our talk and anyone listening.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of understand. I'll give it my best shot.
All right, and then I will hand you the bread bowl, the sourdough bread bowl of ayahuasca.
And Artuk will go ahead right on into it.
So, you partake of the fancy ayahuasca bowl.
Woo!
Zeka, could you put divination into the chat so I can see it?
Oh, yes. Definitely was not in my kitchen making pizza, boys. Ugh, I'm back. Is it on my spell list? Oh shit, I haven't added it to my spell list yet.
That means he can't cast it.
In any case,
Oh, no.
while he pulls that up, what entity are you reaching out to?
Do I need a name for the entity, or can I like, will my ethereal concept of the woman I've been talking to in my dreams work?
As long as you have, so on the spell it says it puts you in contact with a god or a god servant, so you can ask a single question regarding a specific blah blah blah, and your magic and an offering puts you in contact with a god or a god servant. It doesn't say you have to name the god or anything.
I want to call it the green, because that's what it's called in Swamp Thing.
You're trying to reach out to that figure from your
actually,
dreams, though, to be clear, right?
Actually, no. I'm gonna retcon that briefly, because I feel like she's already told me what she was gonna tell me. I'm going to specifically reach out to this new entity that might be able to help, called the Wild. That, or no, I will reach out to Ashira, because not only will I possibly get help from Ashira, but I'll also be able to confirm or see if maybe she is the same person who's coming to me in the dreams.
Let me pull up divination.
I just put it in the chat.
Excellent.
Sorry, trying to drag stuff from Roll20 can be a bit annoying sometimes.
Okay. Your eyes darken, and once again, you find yourself, it's been a bit since the last time, in that kind of garden, that kind of personal, internal garden of yours. You see, like, the aspects of plants that are not affected at all by the spores. The hints of coral, the fish themselves kind of appear, just kind of moving around you, just as you left it before. What question do you ask?
I've never come here on my own, so I hope this isn't, you know, the out of terms or out of place for me. I was just, I don't know if this is the normal person that I talked to here, if this is you or what it is, but just, is this? Where is this going? Is this getting out of control? How do I keep this from getting out of control?
Is that your question?
Yeah, as best I can think to put it.
And did you ask it to the figure from your dreams, the Wild, or Ashira?
Ashira specifically. Assuming you know what I'm talking about. Hi, by the way, Ashira, if you're not the person I've known before, my name's Artuk. I'm a Blight Walker. I'm across the world from you right now, and I'm trying to find you because a woman in my dreams keeps telling me to, and I need help. I hope that you heard that.
There's a pause.
Oh yeah.
There's one hell of a pause. And for just a second, you wonder, is this going anywhere? As it stands, while this is a comforting place for you to be, it's kind of asking this question out into the void feels a little bit daunting. But eventually, you see materialize in front of you a vaguely humanoid face, entirely wrapped up in vines. It seems like almost the shell of your personal garden kind of warps. A bit of a situation similar to the old woman from Pocahontas, whose name I can't remember.
Sure.
Oh, dearie.
David, I think you cut out there for a moment if you were talking.
No, I was just trying to find the right way. I'm trying to find the right way to phrase it.
Gotcha.
Oh, dearie. The next steps for you are going to be very difficult. And I wish I could offer you concrete answers from where I am. But if you are blighted as you say you are, things are not predetermined. You are not bound to decay, but do not confuse that for a guarantee of life. You must fight. But I am willing to aid you in this. Seek me to the north. I am surrounded by water. I will attempt to aid you as best I can. Fear not, Blightwalker. Fight hard, and you may well survive. And the kind of vines dissolve or kind of reform back into kind of the hut.
Sure. So, 2 questions. One was...
Wait, isn't divination a single question?
No, not for her, just for you in general.
Oh, okay.
It's a DM questions.
Oh, okay.
One, did she seem either like the woman from my dreams? I guess she sort of acted like she didn't really know me, so maybe not her. Or like the one who pointed me in the right direction when I was first escaping?
Not immediately. Those figures, they kind of take a feminine form, but they're almost like amorphous and fluid. This looked like an individual. Like you could make out features, like their eyes, their face. You could see like sharp ears and like long like dreaded hair.
Sure. All right. And the other, when she said to the north, does that like work in my head with where I thought already that I was going near Gautera, because that is north of me, but like directly north of me there's a bunch of peninsulas surrounded by water, or like did I feel like
you get the sense that she doesn't know exactly where you are. You kind of reached out from her from space.
Okay, gotcha.
So like saying north is perhaps could have been a bit more specific, but you're noticing that seems to be the case a lot with these people.
Okay, cool. But I have no real reason to be like, oh, I was wrong about Gautera.
Yeah, like, you don't have any reason to believe that you're not going in the right direction. Admittedly, they could have given a little bit more specifics, but whatever.
Sure. Okay. Good to know. All right. Well, then I suppose, with a brief moment knowing people are waiting for me back in the material plane of tending a bit to whatever looks like it needs to be tended to or watered here, I'll, note that I wasn't supposed to be here anyway and don't want to take too much time, in this place reserved for when I'm called here. And I will let myself, if I can, move back into reality.
Oh, there goes gravity.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you absolutely... you're able to return. And you see
While he was gone,
for you.
While he was gone, his physical body
All right.
put the bread bowl on
That
his
was,
head.
it worked. I got there on my own this time. I figured out, I guess that works for getting me to the place, though the person who's usually there wasn't, or maybe, I mean, I didn't go to where she usually, like, lives, but regardless, I got there, and I asked for Ashira, and she came to me, and she's not the same woman who's coming to me in all my dreams, who's been helping me this far, but she was, you know, reassuring and seems to be on my side and telling me that, like, you know, you got this sort of thing, that I can beat it, but I need to fight and struggle and, you know, work hard to do it, and said that she's willing to help and we can find her basically where I thought we already were headed. So, more confirmation. I think the most interesting thing to note out of that is that she's not who's coming to me, so I don't know who is coming to me. Maybe that's the Wild, or I don't know.
Cool. I suppose we'll have to find out.
Yeah, thank you all so much for all this help with this. This is really the first big steps in the right direction that I've made on my own without, you know, being sort of just led. And it's, I say on my own, you know, as not related to the gods or not gods, but to nature or anything like that, not being led there. But when I say on my own, I don't mean alone, because you guys are the only reason I've been able to do it this far and this well. So thank you.
No problem, buddy.
It's what friends are for.
If anyone
I've been
else wants
learning
to
more
do
and more.
that, as long as you have the gold
All right,
for
I'm
it,
headed
we
to
can
bed,
do it.
guys.
Do you all have me muted? Hello?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
What?
we're just choosing not to pay attention. No. No, I just
Do you have me
never-
muted, Adam?
Adam, do you have Will muted?
Oh, I do. Oh, I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I
I
accidentally.
I was like, wow, I'm
So weird.
sorry, Adam. I don't know what I said to piss you off.
I'm so sorry. I had you muted
You
because
know
you're
what you said.
the beeping briefly. I was like, oh, I need to hear what David's saying, and then I forgot to unmute it after because of the scene. What was that? I'm so sorry.
I was just saying, if anyone else wants to do it, just pay me 25 gold and I can put you in contact with someone. That's it.
Right, and when you said your thing about doing it with friends, Zeka said something about no problem. But that was about it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Zeka. Didn't hear you at first.
There is a part of me that wants to do this so bad and have Morax like spend countless gold to talk to all of the orc gods.
You gave away all your money.
And I have no money, and also I like them in my head. They're my gods, and only I get them.
You know, as tempted as I am to buy drugs from a 14-year-old, I think I'm going to say no.
I'm headed to bed, y'all. That was exhausting, but thank you again. Night, y'all.
Of course.
I'm happy we can help. Even if the spell kind of very directly helped, maybe we can keep working on the key thing.
I would be really down for that. That felt pleasant and meditative, even without all the magic that happened.
Obviously, you can turn to any of us if you need anyone to talk to.
I will. You know, my only other companions are mushrooms, and they're not much for talking.
No, they seem very creepy.
Yeah.
They seem to have a wide range of emotions, from smiley faces to frowny faces.
Yeah. You know, that maybe I was projecting on them or something like I'm not going to try to make anything up about... You guys know that wasn't me, right? I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I can't lie very...
I had a feeling.
Why would you?
Look,
Why
I
would
just...
you not? Who did it?
I don't know, maybe it was... I don't know.
I think that you are having really strong reactions to a lot of things lately. And it's really hard being in these wastelands. So maybe you can pick and choose what you have really strong reactions to.
That's true. It's been a lot lately, and I don't like being jumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You need some booze?
I was kind of thinking, David, I imagine that, I mean, it's obviously been really difficult, but can you kind of like, as we've been traveling the past couple days, describe like what you mean by wastelands? Like this picture looks really interesting. It's kind of, it's kind of like a desert, like, but like a not icy desert, but like stone flat area with like mountains around it. Yeah, like I just imagine. I like to think that there's not a lot of growing there, but in the mountains, like there's probably not too many trees. But maybe you can better describe that. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I can do that. So perhaps the mountains are a bit of an exaggeration. Like there are like high bluffs and then plateaus of areas, but a lot of the land is comparatively flat. Like as you pass through, like you see like what were forests, but we've been like torn apart just by literal storms and just knocked over by these massive beasts of burden, like petrified wood from whatever it is, and just bits and baubles like that. The ground goes from like grass to like stony and like harder clays along it, but like all across it just seems like it's just constantly getting like fucked with by just being in this very unstable place. Like the nature of nature around here is just very fluid and kind of shifting in. Like you see parts that are just like out of nowhere, like on the ground. You see like a section that is like this very coarse red, like almost like a lava rock section. Other parts are just like soft sand. Like it seems like this place has just been getting pulled up and thrown around.
That makes sense. And I imagine we're seeing animals, but like infrequently, and like maybe like the equivalent of like fantasy deer that just kind of run if they see us, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
definitely
less
bears.
Definitely. Well, you actually do see a group of bunnies, but they have tusks. You don't know. You don't know what that's all about. You see deer that are just like you see like a group of deer with like white skin, like massive like horns that seem to have like cherry blossom falling off it. That just like on seeing you like look and then disappear, like turn invisible, and just like different fauna that's like looks like it's been affected from living here for a long time.
Isn't that literally just a Pokemon?
I don't know.
Well, anyway, I guess I was getting at that there's probably like small moments of like, oh, this is cool, but it's mostly just kind of like bleak terrain, and probably just feels like bleak and stressful the past couple of days. So kind of like setting that up as the context, like back to our conversation of like, oh, it's just kind of like, it's just really stressful out here. Like, I don't know. I just wish that there was some sort of like levity or like a play. She just kind of sits down and like looks stressed.
It's definitely an oppressive environment.
And that's if I don't know, if like Byron feels inspired by that potentially.
If only I'd been working on my stand-up. Unfortunately, I was working on my Shakespearean monologues.
Well, you are.
Oh no! And Ode puts her head in her hands, like that was the last straw.
Here, I'll get up and do my latest one, and he'll start doing an actual comedy routine.
It's like an old-timey comedy routine.
Go ahead and roll charisma.
I'll use one of my inspirations on that.
Very, very fair.
I'll use my other inspiration for that.
Here, I'll give you an inspiration, because Ode really needs to be cheered up.
Oh no!
There we go.
Go ahead and describe that. I will be right back.
Fuck, Carson's not funny.
Just pull up a John Mulaney.
Just pull up like a Charlie Chaplin, like very old school.
Yes.
Let's see. Irish comedian.
Well, that's not gonna be funny.
Copy, link, fuck, play, there, boom, skip, fuck ayahuasca. He'll use minor illusion to add the applause.
He just does whatever this is.
Just change every time he says Ireland to the Empire.
A dental equivalent of a comb over is pretty good.
I like this guy. Okay, maybe he lost me.
Yeah, they got oddly specific.
All right, sorry about that.
It's all good. We're listening to a random Irish comedian.
Is this Charlie Chaplin?
Random.
No,
No,
Tommy
I put in a
Tiernan.
video of Charlie Chaplin, but Carson found a much better audio clip of a comedian.
Alrighty. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip it because it started off okay, but it was losing me.
It's the exact reverse situation based on your rolls, where it's like you guys see like those two sevens. It's a real rough start. It's a real rough start to the pit, but by the end, ooh, there is a marvelous punchline, and you break the tension, rouse spirits. I don't know. Kezia, you're up for the final part of the skill challenge.
Okay.
Hang on, didn't Morax have a scene he wanted to do?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I think after that he wouldn't have done it.
After the comedy routine about sleeping
No,
with
more we talked to like a deity type thing.
Fair enough.
I'm guessing my initial history check to start it off didn't count, so let's see here.
What are you trying to do?
I honestly have no clue. I've been thinking about it, and I'm sitting here like I have no idea what I'm gonna do here.
Oh, I actually had a potential idea for you.
Oh.
If you want, like, as David, I imagine we probably go back to having to navigate the wastelands.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how obvious this is for Kezia, but potentially, if there's something like we see like some animals in the distance, and we're not quite sure how threatening they might be. If Kezia spots them, she could kind of like guide the group in like moving around them and not drawing their attention type thing. I mean, and not to steal Brenna's spotlight if you have any other ideas.
I was sitting here like I have no idea. There's so many things that could happen here, but I bet it's causing me decision paralysis. So, thank you.
Okay.
I do kind of like that in regards to like, especially with like the crabs that were occurring much earlier on in the session. But I kind of think it would be funny if Kezia saw like, I know this is just the theme for this session a little bit. Kezia sees like mushrooms and stops the entire party, and there's like we must go the long way around in part, and then it's like the first way she's going, she's like there's like weird creatures, so it's like backtracking and then heading off that way, trying to be really careful not to disturb anything.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think that's a very valid skill check. What what skill do you think that would be?
Stealth or perception?
I'll say stealth.
Okay.
And just to be clear, you're trying to like avoid animals and things of that nature.
Yeah, basically. 26.
Damn.
I rolled above.
So you know that's gonna be a success.
Yep.
So just describe what this looks like as you kind of are guiding the group.
So Bailey and Kezia take point in this day, and literally it's like Bailey will just like go scamper ahead and then like randomly stop, and Kezia will go up and be like, "What is it, boy? What do you sense?" He says there's mushrooms up this way. I think we should probably go this direction instead. Thank you, Bailey. And like that just kind of that occurrence keeps happening frequently. Like little bits of rubble that are occurring, and it's like Bailey is assessing with like making sure the entire party is moving around, and Kezia is just fording the pack with Bailey just like ushering.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay, that's definitely going to be a success, and you guys get into what how do I describe this? You guys crest over a hill, because it seems like you guys do that an awful lot, because I'm realizing I say that a lot. But you guys crest over a hill, and you eventually see just below is like this sunken, like very large, just like, not impact, but like, just like a revert valley? Is that the word? God, I cannot think of geography. Like the opposite of a plateau.
I mean, a valley is kind of the word for where, like, the base of two mountains, like, it's lower, and they kind of meet because...
Are you thinking of, like, a crater or
a flat crater?
No, because it's not...
Or maybe kind of like a scarring in the land.
Like a really
like a
big...
crevice?
Like, all I can think of is, like the opposite of a plateau, I think, is, like, a mining operation, which would kind of make sense for the Empire. It's like a quarry.
It's not quite, but God, okay, this is gonna fucking bug me.
We can take a break.
I think I found a better Irish stand-up routine because it's about drinking, so that makes more sense to come from Byron.
Okay, I'm just gonna call it a. I'm gonna call it a valley. I'm just gonna call it a valley. You guys see the entrance to a valley ahead, and in that fucking, and as with the valley, wow, I am really falling apart right here. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna take like 5, guys. Let's go to the bathroom.
Okay, I'm gonna keep watching this stand-up comedy bit.
It could be a swamp, a bayou, a bogland.
I like a quagmire.
I like a
I feel
quagmire.
like maybe he's thinking of crevice.
I mean a crevasse.
I feel like if he's saying plateau, like I feel like it's flat at the bottom, which makes me think crater. But he said crater isn't right. I don't know, I'm gonna get some soup.
I don't know why that made me giggle.
I'll be back.
I'm gonna get some soup.
Oh, maybe he's thinking of canyon.
Maybe. I thought we said thought we said canyon.
Well, he left, so...
That's fine. everyone left.
Hey, Eric, what's that really terrible episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender where he helps people through?
Great Divide.
Yeah. Maybe that's what David's thinking.
Is that what we're doing right now?
I'm back.
Hey, did you know that if you type in the Great Divide into Google Images, it doesn't automatically know you're talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Oh, really?
Will, are we doing a Great Divide episode right now?
Shit. We might be.
We might be, because we don't really know where we're going.
Do we want to divinate and ask where we're going?
I don't know who we'd ask.
Hang on. I'm gonna see if there's a god of maps in D&D.
We'll look up
You know what? There's a god of maps in Greek mythology, so there should be for D&D.
Oh my god, I think there is. Ogma.
Oh no, it sounds too much like Agra. Everyone has to drink.
Everyone has to drink.
Ogma is the Faerunian neutral greater deity of bards, inspiration, invention, and knowledge. His
I
symbol is a
bet
blank
Ken
scroll.
would know of them then.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like what's good about Ken's character right now is that he can kind of just know whatever he wants.
Well, he's
Where is
also a bard. I think they took a break.
Yeah, David took a potty break, and everyone else left as well. It's just us three hanging out.
Oh, okay. I see.
So I guess if you need a potty break,
No,
your time has run up. You're not allowed to leave.
No! No, I'm good.
Wait, are you looking at Denier?
I think... Yeah, I saw Denier as well.
So Denier, often called the Scribe of Ogma.
Yeah.
The
Oh, wait.
lesser deity of art, cartography, glyphs, images, knowledge, literature, and scholars. Oda might know who this is.
Ogma is Denier's brother god. Interesting.
I feel like if any character would know Denier, it would be Ode.
Probably.
Like, it kind of is, like, very entwined. I'll send you a link, Mary.
It's actually kind of cool looking.
It's honestly kind of cool. Its freaking image is the freaking,
Eyeballs and candles.
Yeah, it's like a candle.
I'm kind of a fan, gotta say.
That would be a cool warlock patron.
Oh god, yeah, like, in exchange for power, you just have to map the world. Wait, that's actually a really cool idea.
That's a really cool idea. So I've talked to Mary about it, but I've really liked this idea of playing warlocks, but picking, like, Forgotten Realms patrons that aren't just like, I'm an evil person, or I'm a big old demon. It's like, pick lesser deities, because I feel like that makes more sense for warlocks.
Right, like, why does entering a pact with someone have to necessarily be a negative for you?
Yeah.
Like, in some way. Like, there are plenty of, like, contracts that people do where it legitimately ends up benefiting both parties. Like, overall. You know?
Also, I like the idea of, I don't think enough people do it, of having it be an item that gives you these powers and not really even a contract. Like, you have, like, what were the things called in Yu-Gi-Oh?
The Millennium...
The Millennium,
bullshit.
like, pyramid or whatever. Like, the Egyptian, like, Millennium shit.
The Egyptian god cards.
I love the idea of playing a warlock that it's like, yeah, I found this magic necklace. And it kind of talks to me sometimes, and honestly it just gives me powers.
That's kind of Hexblade, sort of.
I mean, I think I was gonna say, my favorite interpretation of, well, not interpretation, but random, I don't know, thing that reminds me of that is that I was listening to a podcast where during one of the ads, it was an ad for something that'll frame your print and frame your images, and during it, the host of the podcast was like, yeah, say you are going through your grandpa's old things and you find an orb from his old mining days, and then the other host is like, yeah, okay, and then he just continues on with describing oh, they'll frame it for you, and the first host is like, and you just think this orb is so special, and it really calls to you, and you kind of feel the need to keep the orb with you all the time. And the host is like, yeah, okay, here's the promo code. And then the first host is like, and then eventually you feel compelled to do things for the orb, and you're not sure why, but it's really important to you. And he's just describing this randomly throughout the
That's
ad.
amazing.
It's so funny.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. I wish podcasts did that more with ads. Played around with them a bit.
Yeah.
But Bim Bam used to do that.
Honestly, Bim Bam still kind of does it. It's just I
don't skip through their ads because they're pretty fun. There was a recent Honey one where they were like, Honey has searched the internet for you and it has seen some nasty things.
Oh,
you owe it to Honey.
Yeah, I think when Bim Bam does it the best that they I think in older episodes they played with it more because there were less rules on early 2010s internet.
Oh yeah.
Nowadays it's since all of them have family and shit now, I think they have to be a little bit more okay with the ads. But man, whenever I listen to a different podcast where they just read an ad, I'm like, that's so boring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about it.
I've been listening through old Bim Bams, and honestly, going back and forth between the new ones and the really old ones, I kind of miss, don't get me wrong, Munch Squad is fun, but I kind of miss when it wasn't a thing. Because,
it seems overdone at this point.
It takes up, half the episode at this point. And, I don't know. If it was, a every other episode thing, I wouldn't mind it as much, but I don't know. I feel like they're so much funnier when they just answer questions and they don't, just read a press release. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm a big Munch Squad fan. It always makes me laugh.
I love that maybe once every quarter we get a celebrity why not. And
those
that
are
might
great.
be my favorite bit they've ever done.
That's
also,
so good.
I really like the one episode bit of them trying to rewrite random little sayings. They updated the early bird gets the worm to you're gonna eat.
Okay. I don't mind Richard Sting. I think he's funny. Will's no, that was the worst.
No, I like Richard Sting. He's weird, but I like him.
Yeah, Richard Sting's really funny.
But the really old episodes, Griffin used to do a lot of bits, which I was very surprised by when I started. I literally started from the very beginning. And one of his bits it's fucking amazing, and I can't believe they don't do it anymore. But the first podcast of every month, Griffin would find what the blank of the month was. So you know how people are like, oh, it's National Pancake Month, or it's National Fridge Safety Month, or it's not, some dumb bullshit like that. And they would pick one of those, and then for 5 minutes they would come out with TSA style announcements, followed by the tagline my brother and me, and they're so fucking funny.
That sounds funny for sure.
Also, I really hope since October's coming up, they do the Donut Dracula again.
Oh, that was so funny.
Those ones made me have to pull over one time. The Donut Dracula was some of the funniest stuff they had ever done, in my opinion.
Agreed.
I love the character bits of the other two pretending to just be so uninterested in it.
Is this Dungeons and Daddies?
No, this is Mabim Man.
Have you started listening to Dungeons and Daddies?
I've listened to it a little bit, but it was like last year, or I guess earlier this year when I was flying back from Ohio.
Oh, okay. It takes a couple. Go ahead.
No, I've since I've now downloaded TikTok. Now I'm a TikToker. I follow Dimension 20 on there, and I'm like, I need to listen to it, but also I think the TikTok format is enough for now.
I was literally about to say that my recent thing has been I, on a whim, got into Dimension 20, and holy shit, I didn't. It's like I did not expect to like it nearly as much as I do. But I am fucking in love.
Dude, it's so good, isn't it?
It is so good, and they are so funny. Brendan Lee Mulligan and literally like most of the cast is just like every bit they do is just like gold. I have been like laughing out loud at episodes as I just go through. It is just like it is the perfect combination of like D&D and comedy to be just like you know, getting me laughing all the time. It's just ridiculous enough and just serious enough to be like so perfect.
I assume you're listening to Fantasy High right now?
Yeah, I started with Fantasy High. I finished all of season 1 of it, and I'm in the sophomore year now.
I can't find the sophomore year. How are you listening to it?
I currently have just been doing it on YouTube because I have at least the first few episodes of sophomore on YouTube, and then as soon as I'm out of episodes, I'm just going to download Dimension, or I'm going to buy Dropout TV because I've been listening to it enough. It's worthwhile for the like small monthly subscription.
Honestly, I might too, because I love Fantasy High so much.
Yeah, and they have so many other ones, like Brendan Lee Mulligan, like, does a campaign where, like, Matt Mercer is a player in, like, a Dimension 20 campaign.
Actually, all up for free currently. That's the Evil campaign. It's very good.
It's so fucking good.
I just know that Matt Mercer's whole character is, like, scored by a fucking halfling with a frying pan.
Yes.
And I just keep seeing clips of him being like, just remember that it can't be as bad as a damn halfling with a frying pan eating your ass.
I have
flies away on a jet ski or something like that.
My most watched like clips on YouTube lately have been rewatching the funniest bits and clips out of the Dimension 20 episodes. Like, you know, he introduced like you know, things that normal people wouldn't think about. Like at one point, the party got like brought out to dinner by like a random like halfling family who they almost ran into in a car. And they're like, oh,
my God, I love that family so much.
So good.
Let's go bring you guys to dinner, you know, or for ice cream because, you know, we feel bad about almost hitting you and everything. And so they like go there, and while they're there, the party goes off and like starts discussing like how they're gonna like fucking defeat this demon and whether they're gonna get the police involved or anything like that. And Brennan, like the DM partway in, just goes, so as you're saying that, the halfling that you were there that you completely forgotten about was there with you, looks at you and goes, yeah, the issue with cops is, you know, you just can't trust them. You don't know whether they're, you know, good ones or corrupt. And I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying you should do anything harmful, but I'm just saying if we lured some over here and, you know, threw a bag over their heads and took them with us, ask you things like, you know, I'm not saying attack the police, but, you know, they're corrupt and enforcing a corrupt system, and you know I'm not against bagging a few pigs.
I love halfling family.
There's like you know cute little halfling postman and his family going you know just little like dumb shit like that is what makes 20 so good.
My favorite moment from the whole campaign. Well, there's two, but my favorite that's on YouTube and you can look up the clip very easily. It's they go into this like party or whatever, and it's like I don't know, it's like the other school's like football team or something like that, and like the dude is like talking to them and he's like, we have some libations for you, there's a pool in the back and all these things, and he's just talking or whatever, and then this chick walks in, like takes a shot of vodka, makes out with a dude, slams the bottle on the ground and just says, I came here to fuck.
Yeah. It's so fucking good. And literally there's like multiple of that level of scene in an episode. It's just like continuous bit after bit. It's so good.
Yeah, highly recommend it.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, once you finish that, Adam, you should definitely check out Dungeons and Daddies because it's very similar energy.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
I got a lot of Dimension 20 to go through, but I'll eventually run out.
Yeah, it's become like it has beaten the Adventure Zone for me now. It is above the Adventure Zone for me. Yeah, which is saying a lot.
I'll definitely check it out. I'm gonna have a backlog.
All right, we want to keep going. Also, if we finished early enough, I was thinking we should do a couple rounds of that game again because that was really fun last time.
Arctic phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do a round or two.
Yeah, plus I know the reason for starting earlier was to try to finish a little early, so I don't know where we're at with that.
Oh yeah, it's like 9 o'clock for some of you, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Then you did a skill challenge.
Is David back?
Yeah, I've been back for a while.
Oh.
I've just been listening, taking a minute.
Do you want to keep going, David?
Yeah, I've got like one or two more things, I think, and then we can definitely wrap up early though. I want to do one.
Well, I mean, we are still like 5 hours from our starting point, so
yeah,
4 hours. So, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good with doing one or two more things, but I wanted to clarify the semantics of it. It's not technically wrapping up early.
Sure. Oh yeah, that's fair. Jesus, weird. Time zones are weird. Yeah, no, we can wrap this up relatively soon. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Also, I was fucking wrong. I'm just calling it a crater. It's just a very large fucking crater.
Are you thinking canyon?
Wait, did you see my suggestions? I said crevasse or canyon or Avatar: The Last Airbender Great Divide.
Honestly, the Great Divide is probably the closest one, but...
Oh my god.
But that seems like it's setting up something that would only go badly, so...
Yeah, let's not call it the Great Divide because it might end up being the worst episode of our campaign.
Alright, I feel like I had more faith in myself before that... No, I'm kidding. No,
I can't wait for us to do the Footloose episode.
Kick off Sunday shoes. Anyway, you guys crest the hill and kind of find yourselves at the edge of a very, very, very large crater. Before you see kind of the edge of these kind of more stone-faced hills. They're like mountains, but they just aren't quite tall enough to qualify. And just this wider like area of like what looks like far below is like some canyons. You actually see like some structures far, like probably several miles away, and just kind of at the edge of this where you have a good view of where to go forward. There's kind of those stone bluffs down towards it. There's heading into the crater, which is probably like a 2-mile radius. It's that big, yes. This kind of beginning of a canyon moving far towards the end, and just this structure several miles away, not in the canyon, but kind of at the opposite edge of it.
So it almost looks like you'd say crash site, where there's a big old trail leading to this thing.
You can extrapolate what you like from it.
I'm just, trying to get a good mental picture for it.
All right. But it is once again, just kind of with the end of that skill challenge, it is getting, once again, towards the evening. The thing that's making you think there's a structure over there is in that distance where you can kind of see the outline as kind of the sun sets over. You see, like, some lights being ignited, like fires and such. It's hard to see, but, like, if there's a torch in the distance when it's night out, you're going to notice something.
So it's civilization, is what you're saying.
Some kind of it, yeah.
Or, a weave scar camp.
It's people and it's not giant crab things.
It is, well, hold on. You haven't checked whether it's giant crab people in there, but you can never be too sure these days.
That's valid.
Yeah, it's getting towards the evening.
Do we want to try to catch up with them and run the risk of running into Weavesguard or delicious crab people, or just camp out here?
Did you really just use the phrase delicious crab people?
Look, I just remembered how good crab is with clarified butter and just, we've been living off of hardtack and Zeka's bread for...
Hey, my bread's great. Fuck you.
No, it is. You're just running out of, your really good ingredients, or, we're kind of going to, just Ritz crackers, and I kind of miss the focaccia.
And the sourdough.
That's
It's
true.
kind of just it's been cob-aside for the past 2 weeks.
I failed my herbalism check earlier, so I didn't get very good herbs. I'm sorry.
I don't think you should beat yourself up about that. That plant tried to eat you.
Yeah, no, it's all good, Zeka. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying that I'm hungry for some delicious crab.
It is a fact of the matter.
What?
Wait. The question still stands.
I agree.
It was a question.
Could you please repeat the question?
Do you concur?
By crabs.
So, what's the answer to the question? Yes.
Yes.
Do we want
I
to just
took
camp
that out
out?
of the Austin Hill playbook right there.
Do we want to just camp out here? Or do we want to go over there where we see the lights and run the risk of running into possibly Weavesguard and the like?
I think I'd rather do this. Sorry, dust. I think it might be best to do
Was
this.
that the sneeze?
Yes.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Orcs sneeze weird. It's like we're sneezing into a microphone over distance. I think it might be best to have light out, personally for me, so that I can use this damn shield for once. But if we wanted to go now, we could. It's just we have no idea how many of them there are.
I also can't see in the dark anymore, so...
Oh yeah, you can't see for shit right now, can you?
It's very dark.
Would
Half
you
of us can't see right now, can we?
would you like me to gauge? If we think they're an enemy, I could try to send something over there and gauge their strength with it.
Could you fly?
I cannot really fly, but I can send. I mean, I can
Maybe
maybe
you turning yourself into like a falcon?
I could do something like that, or I could, send something in to see if they fight it, and how many of them there are, because I'm sure they'd all come out to fight. Gauge their
We could
strength.
also send either Bailey or
Bailey and-
Milo.
Yeah, we can send both of them.
Yeah, I guess it's. Do we want to send something small to spy, or do we want to send something big and then look from a distance to see what happens?
Oh, could we do both ideas?
If it's big, the only thing is, if they're friendly, we might kill some of them. If it's Weavesguard, absolutely. Fuck them up, please.
That's a good idea then. Send Bailey, see if they're Weavesguard, and if they are, I'll send something big and make them fight it so we can see how many there are and maybe even hurt some of them.
Yeah.
This plan. Am I sending Milos too? Or
Why not send them both?
Yeah.
¿Por qué no los dos?
¿Por qué no los dos? Okay, fuck it. Hey, Milos.
Why are you speaking halfling?
I'm glad you're picking up some halfling terminology. Bailey.
Is that all right?
Are you ready for a very important
Bailey
mission?
is now just Blue from Blue's Clues.
No, I'm Beaker. All right, Bailey is shamed by all your rude comments and goes back to being nonverbal.
Oh no.
I'll play Bailey.
Bailey flips off Morak for his mean comments.
I was gonna say.
Looks at Kezia with big old eyes, like betrayal in them.
Okay, Bailey, you're going to go with Milos. You're going to go check out that camp over there. And then anything you get, just ping me, okay? Sound good?
Has arms crossed, turned away from you.
Buddy, I wasn't making fun of you, I was making fun of him.
Bailey turns around, goes back, pulls out like a sign like out of an old Roadrunner cartoon, and just, goddamn. Pulls out the sign and just says, "You burned this bridge, Kezia. Live with it," and just starts heading off towards it.
Thank
Leaves
you,
the
buddy.
sign.
I love you very much.
Bailey takes off. You
He's
wounded it.
emotionally repressed.
Wonder if
Don't know where he learned it.
That took me a second.
That's so good. Okay. So Bailey and Milos are heading off. Is Milos a lizard still, or is he a will-o'-the-wisp?
Yes.
He's a lizard still.
Please repeat the question.
Okay.
Actually, I think by now I would have changed him back.
Okay.
Because also, I think owls are like extra stealthy, which is helpful.
He painfully anamorphs back into a will-o'-the-wisp.
There's no will-o'-wisp like a floating orb of magic.
Yes, we've been over this.
No, I'm just saying it's not stealthy.
I mean, in this
I'm
region,
putting leaves
uniquely,
on him.
actually.
He can dim his light.
Make him an owl.
He can dim his light, fine.
Honestly,
You know what?
being
Fine.
a will-o'-the-wisp
Fuck
in
you,
this
Morax.
particular
He's an
region
owl.
might be
Are you
more
happy?
normal than a raccoon.
He's an owl now.
You see all the guys in the camp say, "Holy shit, what is that? That isn't a will-o'-the-wisp at all." We're used to those. No. Okay, as you guys have them go towards the camp, could you have them both make a stealth check for me?
Oh, whoops.
I mean, it's the natural 20 anyway, whatever the modifier is, like...
Can't I click on the... Oh, here we go. Ugh. Well,
Nice.
How fitting.
he does his best, okay?
All right, as you guys move towards this little pocket of civilization, Bailey begins to kind of skirt around the edge. I imagine that that Milos, in his owl form, kind of just starts flying around, just kind of doing the perimeter of the camp looking for stuff.
Uh-huh.
Nah, there's no reason they would do that. After just a few seconds, though, you do see just in two tents, two separate tents, you see two figures walk out. One looks to be a half-elf woman, probably about, it's hard to tell from being an owl, but just a half-elven woman, and the other, it takes just a little more time for them to get out of the tent. They're moving a little slowly, but as they open it, I don't know if any of you have seen this before, particularly not because it's the familiars, but you see a somewhat squat figure, hunched over, but still very large, as with green skin, with a very large hard shell on its back, as there is this massive turtle with a big fucking glaive on its back, just kind of regarding this tawny owl. Well, that's a bit weird. What the hell's this thing?
Who?
Me. Who? Points at you and says, "Who?" Gives a little chuckle to himself.
Who?
Huh. What is that doing all the way out here? That thing should have gotten scooped up by one of the shriekers.
Tawny owls don't mate here this time of year.
That's a good point, Lydia. Don't know how you figured that out. But very slowly goes over to a pocket, and you see just like you see just a little cracker in its hand. Come here, fella. I'm not gonna hurt you.
Milos will dutifully go to eat the cracker.
He just puts it on the ground and takes a step back. Now, I'm presuming that you are here with someone if you're all the way out here. Because if you're on your own, you would not have made it this far. You got an owner, someone who needs some help, someone who's way out of their depth. Like, he's getting low down to it. The half-elf has gone back into her tent for just a moment.
Milos is going to try to look, if this makes sense, intelligently at the guy, as in, like, he understands what he's saying, and he's gonna start trying to lead him into the woods away from where we are.
Oh.
We about to rob these guys?
I mean, Bailey definitely will as soon as his time comes.
Speaking of, we're going to jump over to Bailey. Real quick, we'll come back in just a second. What is Bailey up to?
Where is Bailey?
There are 2 tents and a campfire in this, and there currently a large turtle is hunched over talking to an owl, and a half-elven woman has gone into her tent.
And there's no other people that I can sniff out?
No, but there are tracks. Very large tracks.
Oh.
Well, all tracks are very large, so I don't know why that's important.
I get it.
Yeah, but are, like, more than just those belonging to those 2 sets of people?
No, there's something else, some kind of creature, but hard to tell.
Ooh, sniffs curiosity. Follow.
You're gonna follow?
Yeah!
Roll survival.
Question. I am using my sniffers.
You would have advantage, yes.
Sweet.
Not even an issue at all for Bailey, as they begin to follow these very large tracks and just moving along the floor, and you see just a little bit further away, maybe 30, 40 feet away from the camp, just in darkness, you see just this creature just kind of resting itself, just kind of in, not a clearing, but just its own little area.
Oh, what, is there any, like, obvious leads or bindings on it, like in the sense that it's...
You see that there is kind of leather affixed to the back of it. It doesn't look like it has, like, a chain around its neck, or, like, it's not, like, strapped like a horse, but it has something attached to its back.
Yeah, I'm, like, looking to see if it's, like, a tamed sort of creature. Okay. Huh. It's not too far
Does
off.
Bailey get closer?
Nah, Bailey would see this, probably address its size, and then, like...
large.
Slink backwards.
Very large.
Over to the camp. And then whichever tent, is the woman still in the tent?
Yeah, seems to be kind of... You can even see, like, just from, like, a candlelight, just stuffing, like, a backpack, and seems to be, like, packing up. Not in, like, a mad frenzy so much as, like, oh, do we need to get going? Packing my stuff up.
I'm gonna go, Bailey's gonna go over to the other tent and investigate. See if there's, like, any bags or anything like that. And if he finds anything, he'll rummage through it. If he finds food, he's gonna take it.
As you go through the back of the tent, you do see there is basically a sleeping bag, and the tent itself is in there. It's very wait, no. There is no sleeping bag. There is a bit of, like, smoothed over dirt, but otherwise there is no tent, or there is no sleeping bag. There are a few bags that if you go through, you see, like, ball bearings, arrows, few nets, things like that.
Bailey's gonna snag 5 arrows, put them in his mouth, and start booking it away from
Oh,
the
you
tent.
also see what looks kind of like jerky, but if it was green, but not in the sense of it's gone bad.
Ooh. Does it smell like food?
Smells like food.
Take that too.
Okay. Alright, jumping back over to Tawny Owl. You're having it... Okay, the 16...
So, hang on, real quick, I'm gonna mentally tell Milos, like, keep acting like an owl, but, like, act like you're interested in what he's saying. And then I'm gonna, come out of my comatose state and look to the others and say, they're going to try and follow the owl. Should I lead them to us or away from us? Do we want to, like, ambush them, or do we want to, like, just get them out of the way?
Do they seem like threats?
The
David,
turtle
do
has a
they seem
glaive, you will notice, but, like... The rest of
like...
that's just
very
up to your
threatening,
demeanor.
They have a glaive.
I mean, we don't intend, I think, from what we were saying, to go and... I thought we were resting tonight. So, leading them away wouldn't really do us any good. Leading them towards us would give us the opportunity to do something ahead of time tonight, I guess, if we want to, you know, question or ambush or whatever we feel like with this person, depending on their intentions. But then once we've done that, you know, it's done, and we can't let them go back if we plan to rest for the night, or you know.
I mean, who is there? How many of them are there?
There are 2 of them. One of them is a turtle, and the other one was named Lydia.
Well, if there's only 2 of them...
And it seemed like she was packing up to get ready to go or something.
If there's only 2 of them, I can't imagine them being a threat to us.
There's not a lot of that. Why don't we just go talk to them? Worst comes worst, we have some friends for the night, and we separate in the morning. Or we, you know, kill them.
And best comes to best, they give us some more information about the surrounding territory.
That's true. Maybe they've seen where we're heading to.
Oh, Bailey says there's also a weird creature there.
What do you mean a weird creature?
He's not certain. Bigger than him, didn't get a good look.
Can't she look through his eyes?
Too far.
Did he say if it was, like, restrained or anything?
He said it had something that was leathery on its back. I would imagine it would be a saddle. Or
Okay, then it's totally fine. Once again, if it's a threat, we can probably kill it.
You gonna go talk to them?
Ooh, he's got a treat.
I mean, I can, sure.
Sure.
So, join me? I'd prefer not to go alone. If there's anyone that can if there's anyone that can be killed by 2 people.
We might...
If we're going anywhere, I think we should all go together.
We might be threatening looking if we show up like that. I can stand back and keep an eye.
Maybe you could, I guess, keep Sonny company. He just keeps singing some random song about bananas.
I together. We're not threatening any more than they are by just existing.
Yeah,
to be honest, it's mostly in case that they are going to go onto the attack. I cannot be in the middle of combat like that. It would be much better if I was at the distance.
Okay.
And I will say, if they do go on the attack, I have relearned a combat spell.
Oh! You're
I've
not
used-
completely useless anymore. Congratulations. I was joking. I was so joking. You're very useful, Byron.
Oh,
No,
thanks.
he's
You know, that was great. Let's go.
Zeka, do you jump back into Milosh form?
Sure. And then I'll hold, I don't know, someone's hand.
Okay.
So that they can lead me.
Okay.
I'll hold him by the shoulder.
Okay. As you guys begin to converge towards it, you see that the turtle's been looking at you. Kind of just how Milosh has just been kind of looking around a little, not confusedly, but like, you see the turtle's kind of built like a little pyramid of snacks for him.
What a sweetie.
Oh. And yeah, Milos eats happily.
So
and is like demonstrating that he is waiting.
no, so they're coming here, or are we going to them?
Who?
Your friends. Your owner,
Who?
sorry.
Who?
You tell him, boss.
You tell him, boss.
Alrighty. Very slowly stands up and just kind of just puts his hand towards the mouth. Matcha. Gives a little whistle. We got company, old girl. And from your form, Zeka, you see this turtle call over, and from where you don't know that Bailey was over there, you see this very large figure begin to stand up, kind of shake itself off, and I don't know if you've seen this animal, but it, for the party's sake, it looks like a silverback gorilla, but if it had a Machamp situation of 2 extra arms, it is massive. And it begins to walk over and kind of just wait beside the turtle man.
Oh.
What? Zeka, what is it? Wait, shit.
Did y'all ever play Pokemon as a kid? I mean, there's a
Digimon.
large gorilla with 4 arms.
I'll just tap him.
That's...
Acknowledgement.
That
Well, I guess
sounds like
threatening.
the coolest thing ever.
I get,
And I
kind of cool.
don't know how I feel about it being over there.
I would say I feel both terrified in case it, attacks us. That's 4 arms to beat the shit out of us. But also filled with a morbid curiosity to see what that looks like.
You guys are about 2 minutes away, you gander.
I guess we'll keep going.
Alright. Barring any of you cutting off at any point, 2 minutes later, you guys arrive at the camp. And you see the turtle man still just feeding Milos. Maybe overfeeding at this point. Beside this massive 4-armed gorilla.
I forgot to give Milos the command that he can stop eating, so he's just stuck perpetually eating.
It's just a poodle who just keeps eating until it vomits.
Well, I'm guessing that you folks are the ones who own this here feller.
Why there. Yeah, you could say that. That's, my little buddies here, and pat Zeka on the chest. Pet sort of thing. I'm Byron Black, or Ken Smith, either way. And these are my friends. What's your name?
Zeka. Oh.
Oh, yes.
And scene. I think that's a perfect way to end the episode.
He patted me on the chest. I thought he was talking to me.
We really have that video for the episode. It's so good.
Yeah.